in Canada, and yours truly from the nation of Indiana, which some people think is a foreign country. I'm Mike Emmerich. As we turn our attention to this contest tonight, you cannot overlook the last 11 games the Devils have played. They are 9-0-2 in that strain. And over that period of time, they have had wonderful performances from different lines on different occasions. The one we want to talk about tonight is the one that did so well last weekend, and that's the line of Patrick Elias, Igor Larionov, and a guy who is scratched tonight, Christian Berglund.
Well, this line got it started, and they finished it off, and it was a wonderful goal to begin with. Now, a couple things to look at. Look at the play here by Niedermayer. He starts to go backwards, then he throws it up. And this is as well an executed 3-on-2 as you can get. Now look at who's going in the middle, that big body of Igor Larionov. He backs off the defenseman. That opens up the passing lane. Nice shot there by Elias on the open side of the net. And then in overtime, Devils really wanted to get this win to start this road trip off on the right foot. And here's Elias with a shot that hits the stick. It's past Fleury. And it was just a wonderful way to end that game and to keep that streak alive.
Well, Grant Marshall will be the right winger on that line tonight, and Grant has only played in 7 games. This is game 19 of the year, so the Devils are looking forward to seeing what he will offer as he comes back from injury. Now, as we turn to the Kings, they say you can't go home again. Luc Robitaille is in his 3rd stint in Los Angeles. When you look at his numbers, he's 2nd overall in the team in points right now, just behind Zygmunt Palffy, who is not playing tonight for Los Angeles. And look at the career. 1,305 games, 1,335 points.
Very impressive, Doc. He said he learned his English here in L.A. and learned to score. You know, you might say, you know, Luke doesn't play in all areas of the ice, but he does in front of the net. And what has been his trademark is getting in front of the net. Now look at this. He's going to get pounded, then he's going to have to dive to chip this in. And that's the one thing about Luke. He's not going to go in the corner and run over people, Doc, and be real physical. But in front of the net, he'll get hurt and pay the price to do this, snapping him home. Once again, he did it in the old orange and purple uniform, and he continues to do it now. He's only 37, Doc. I don't think, you know, we've seen the last of Luc Robitaille this year or even in the next couple.
Only 37.
Yeah.
10 years ago, we'd say a guy's 37. He must have retired 2 years ago. As we turn our attention to the goaltenders now, it's not much of a surprise for New Jersey, Marty Brodeur, but Cristobal Huet, the native of France, who shut out Colorado in Colorado Saturday, is back in the twine tonight.
Well, we got 2 French goalies, you're right, Doc, but for the first time, we've actually got a kid who's really from France. But before we get to him, Marty Brodeur, going to be between the pikes again, and he was marvelous against Pittsburgh. And of course, he robs Milan Kraft. That was one of his best there. And he was within like 26 and some point seconds from a shutout, but he was absolutely terrific. He'll probably go both games here. Unfortunately, Corey Schwab not on the road trip. He's slightly injured. Scott Clemenson backing him up, and why would you take this guy out of the lineup as well as Marty has been playing? And there he is. Hewitt is his name. I'm not sure that's the French pronunciation, but I'll tell you one thing, Doc. We're talking to Andy Murray before the game, and he's really happy with his kid. He's control. Well, he's been around. He's played some Olympics. He's played in some of the best teams in Switzerland. He can do the job. He's coming off the shutout, and he's gotten the call today. We're kind of hoping Czech Manic. You know, we saw Czech Manic and Marty go at it a little bit out east in the last couple of years. Czech Manic was with the Flyers, but it's Hewitt getting the call tonight.
Devils came out here on Saturday, so they've had some time to get adjusted to the Pacific time zone. Luc Robitaille, nothing lucky about that guy. And Scott Stevens reaches another milestone tonight as captain of the Devils. We'll talk more about that later as our game about to begin.
Make a bold statement every time. Ford's Jewelers is the largest authorized watch jeweler in New Jersey for over 50 of the finest watch brands in the world. Choose classic styling, exquisite beauty, timeless precision. Ford's Jewelers is unmatched for selection and affordability. We also have a stunning selection of collectibles and gifts like Hummel, Disney Classics, Yadro, and much more. Gifts to be treasured for a lifetime. There's only one Ford's Jewelers. Fine jewelers quality, always at a price that will please you.
What's the deal with the LG VX6000 camera phone? It's only $99.99. Want to see that deal again? At this price, it's never been easier or more affordable to snap, style, and share all those fun moments. And you can even add sound and text.
This rocks!
The coolest pictures, the coolest phone, at the coolest price. Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you.
Hey, DVDs. What did you get?
CDs.
Video games. Oh, I wanted that one too. That's such a good one.
Store opens in 20 minutes, Pete. focus.
Right.
All the new stuff. Stop by Circuit City every Tuesday and save on the hottest new releases like Bruce Almighty and X2 X-Men United, just $14.99 each. Save on great gifts and dash through your list at Circuit City. We're with you.
Hey, hockey fans! The 2004 Best Buy NHL All-Star Fan Balloting presented by PlayStation 2 lets you vote for the players. Make your picks now, then see the game from Minnesota February 8th on ABC. Each time you vote, you can enter to win. First prize is a trip for two to the 2005 NHL All-Star Game, a PlayStation 2 computer entertainment system, and a $25 Best Buy gift card. Vote at Best Buy at NHL.com and on your Nextel phone, or get your official NHL ballot at the arena. Vote today.
My day with the Cup was great. I had a Friends of Friends party. We had a catered dinner for all my good friends, well, good friends. My friends and family were about probably 80 to 100 people. So all my friends that usually sits at work and say, oh, I know this guy, you know. Now they had the opportunity to really prove that they knew me and bring their friends along to the party to see the Cup. So my shoulders were a little sore the day after, but it was nice. This is the third time, 9 years for me, bringing the Cup back home in Montreal, and it was a lot of fun again.
New Jersey Devils hockey is brought to you by Bud Light, the proud sponsor of the NHL, and by Jeep, the most respected, honored, and heroic 4x4s out there. Only in a Jeep 4x4.
The spacious Staples Center in Los Angeles, where tonight Tim Peel and Brad Watson are the referees. Scott Driscoll and Derek Nansen are the linesmen. Former referee Bob Hall is supervisor. Craig Becker is the video goal judge. And to put the puck in play to start it all is Brad Watson. Colin White, Scott Niedermeyer to start on defense. Sergei Brelin, Eric Rasmussen, Turner Stevenson up front. Aaron Miller and Tim Gleason, the defense for Los Angeles. Kip Brennan, Esa Piernes, and Jonathan Sims start the game up front for the Kings. Gleason, one of a handful of rookies that are getting their chance to play, and not necessarily because of injury, but rather because they earned a spot on the team. Stevenson a drive, and it went off the skate of Piernes and wide. Kept alive by Colin White and fed around behind again to Stevenson. Flipped one out in front that's deflected back out by the Kings, and so retrieving is Niedermeyer. Circle to White. No change just yet for the Kings as it's worked on now to Stevenson. Sometimes we watch for that in the first clear of the puck because there are times that the teams just don't like who they've seen out against. But there are times that that doesn't occur too, and this is one of them as this shot by Sim is sailed off Stevens' stick and up into the mesh. And Scott Stevens reaches another milestone that's a tie tonight, and then he breaks that tomorrow night in Anaheim. 1,615 games. That's all-time tying Larry Murphy for no one in history has had that many. 904 points, 10th among defense in NHL history, and no defenseman in the history of the league has played more playoff games than Stevens. Here's a drive right on goal and a good save by Brodeur. Lubomir Visnovsky, one of the more prominent offensive defensemen in the league, let that shot go. He is number 17 in the dark uniforms. Stevens over to Rafalski. Brian Rafalski angled one ahead that skipped free and has just hacked on further into some traffic and lobbed on back in. Doing that was Trent Platt, the one-time Philadelphia Flyer, but grabbing this off is Jamie Langenbrunner. Langenbrunner with Madden and Pandolfo. Langenbrunner's pass is tipped back in by Pandolfo and on goal for Cristobal Huet. Sure glad you've joined us tonight on Fox. A minute and a half into period number 1. 5 other games played in the NHL. All of them are over. And we'll be reviewing scores and details between periods. Here's Mike Camilleri. Fed one across that ricocheted near Robitaille. Jabbed to the front, but then picked off by Gomez and laid back onto Giunta. Ryan Giunta rushes back in, tried to filter a pass through. Got it onto Breeze and then to Giunta behind. Giunta tapped on for Gomez, and Gomez worked on by Camilleri. Puck to the back for a shot by Tommy Albaline, and that rocketed wide. Picked off and dealt back along once more by Visnovsky and out to center. Albaline took the bump. That came from Dustin Brown. Worked back ahead for Robitaille, but he could not connect with Camilleri. Robitaille flings one behind. Camilleri protects there, but is ridden off by Tommy Albaline. Robitaille comes by Camilleri out in front, though. Fed one in front that's slowed down by Hale. Kept alive, though, by Matthias Nordstrom, the one-time Ranger. Albaline yanks it on around. It's fed by Camilleri. On for a shot that is snuffed out. Loose puck picked up by Robitaille and spiked away from him by Gomez. Another try and Brodeur stopped that one, and Albaline clears, and it's sent further by Giada. Some good pressure by the Kings.
Rough start for the Devils. They're losing some battles for some loose pucks. They lost the face-off cleanly, and their coverage not what we're normally used to seeing.
Particularly in first periods of games when they come out with a lot of flash. Here is Elias shouldering up along the wall with Ian LaPerriere, and then he's walled from behind by Trent Platt. Meanwhile, it's kicked back in. Sean Avery, 19 in the dark uniform, who's watching Grant Marshall right now, is the leading penalty getter in the league with 80 minutes. And he's only 5'9". You don't often see that. Of course, there are small guys that have creative language toward officials that sometimes earn them a lot of minutes. But here is Avery, 19 behind, pestered by Larionov. Puck flipped back out and kicked away from Avery, but is retrieved by Brad Chartrand and dealt back in, but catching a man offside. Time to take a look at the Hyundai keys to the game. What do you have?
Well, for the Devils, they want to find a way to generate shots against this LA team. They've been very good defensively, and that has been their trademark. Second thing they want to do, want to expose the middle of the ice. LA missing 3 of their top centermen, Allison Stumple and Derek Armstrong all out. And for the Kings, Doc, they need a 60-minute commitment. They can't have any surfers tonight. They got to have swimmers, because this is just too thin a lineup. Like I say, Deadmarsh is out of the lineup. Halsey's injured. And those 3 centermen I was talking about. And Andy Murray has done a wonderful job of really keeping this thing glued together. They're leading their division. And of course, he's getting used to it. This team was decimated by injuries last year at critical times.
That was when all the young guys were up, because they had to fill the lineup with players. We have the first penalty of the game. It is a hooking call on the one-time King, Eric Rasmussen, at 3:42. The Kings are 3 for their last 23 on the power play. That's not too good over the last 6 games. The Devils have killed off 22 of the last 23 over 6 games. Camilleri won the draw, but turned it into a linesman's pair of skates. So Madden starts away 3-on-2 to Rafalski with a shot, and it's held by Huet. A 3-on-2 rush for the Devils off a face-off win and shorthanded.
Well, that guy there, no stranger to jumping up in the play, but it's always calculated. And you watch what Rafalski does. He knows he cannot miss the net. If he shoots that wide, Doc, he's got 2 of his teammates as well as himself caught. It would have been a 4-on-1 the other way. Brian, one of the best at hitting nets when he's called upon to do that. So the Devils, that's their best rush of the night, and that was with a man's disadvantage. I think they're going to get better as this game goes on, Doc. As everyone knows, they came out early for 2 days. They got a chance to spend some time together. They were down on the beach for the first day, then they moved to Pasadena, and then they had the rookie party a couple nights ago. Fortunately, there's 4 rookies, so the financial load was shared by 4 guys. On some teams, it comes down to maybe 1 or 2. But Marty Brodeur said they had a lot of fun on the first couple days. They've had a couple hard practices, but now it's back to work. You know, I got the sense this morning, Doc, the Devils are taking this winning streak very seriously. They want this thing to continue.
The record for the team in unbeaten is 13. They're at 11 right now. The power play continues. Camilleri close quarters to Robitaille. Then back along trying to get a shot away was Platt, but he just couldn't get good control. Still they battle. It's away from Stevens, on to Rafalski. Outlets on now for Sergei Brelin, and we're down to the last minute and 1 second of the penalty kill for New Jersey. Madden back out there now, along with Pandolfo, White, and Niedermeyer on the defense. It's led ahead by Vishnopsky. Brought right back on and held at the wall by Yaroslav Modry, the one-time Devil. They still continue the battle. It comes back now for a drive by Vishnopsky, and that one was past the glove of Brodeur and against the wall. Pandolfo tried to clear. It's on back to Vishnopsky once again. Chipped back ahead for a feed for Modry that's blocked right to Niedermeyer, then spiked back. And after it is Colin White. He won the race to poke it further, but Modry with a good keep. Now twisting with it along as Alexander Frolov, mashed to the wall by Niedermeyer, and Niedermeyer right back at him again. Niedermeyer pawing at Frolov, and the 2 of them sit down. Meanwhile, down to the last 12 seconds of the power play, down to the ice goes Colin White. Puck control to the outside by Frolov again. Frolov fed, shot was sent wide because of Pandolfo's check on Dustin Brown, and the Devils are able to nudge it out to center, and the kill is complete.
Well, if this power play has been any indication, Mike, the Devils don't want to take too many penalties. That's a good-looking power play for the Kings. They came awfully close a couple of times.
Matthias Nordstrom tried to feed one ahead. Bad pass for Modry. Around with it now is Gomez. swept it across to Friesen, throws it across the net mouth, and it kicked back to Alvaline, who was not able to hold it in, and so offside is called. 13:52 left in the first of a scoreless tilt in L.A.
Some opportunities are too good to pass up. The Nissan Sentra.
Neutralized face-off, and back to action here as Rafalski bangs it back in, and it swirls past Huet. Taken by Wisnowski and flipped on, but right to Friesen. Gomez tried to reconnect with him, and that didn't work. Huet paddled it away, but it's Gianta. Gianta dealing it now to Friesen. Nice little move around in front, and he was hoping for a forward to be there, but it didn't pan out, and it's Robitaille connecting across. Lugging it on is Wisnowski. Holds and fires. Packs up Brodeur, and it's spiked away by Rafalski. Nudged back out now on to Gomez. Lays it on a cross for Scott Stevens. Stevens sets it over for a shot by Gomez that's deflected up into the mesh.
Well, the Kings don't look like they're a wounded bunch here. They've done a good job of breaking out of their own end with some sharp passes, and they have attacked Marty Brodeur this last time. Now, Marty's reading what's coming at him. Watch what he does with his puck. He kicks it past the King, and a good job of Rafalski with a quick stick to clear that dangerous rebound.
Off the tie-up, it kicked over to Nordstrom and then on to Sean Avery. Avery's pass is all the way to Colin White. 6:50 gone first period. 3 shots for the Kings and 1 for New Jersey. And you're right, this is in contrast to what we've been seeing from the Devils over this streak where they've, even in the early stages of the season when they weren't winning games, they were playing well out of the start. This one thrown around behind, kicks back across for the twisting move that didn't pan out from Camilleri, and then a stick came up high on Matthias Nordstrom.
Larionov.
And Igor Larionov is the guy that'll get bagged for this.
Trying to slow Nordstrom down. Trying to pick him somewhat. Got to stick up a little bit high. You know, I'll say from my own personal history, Doc, L.A., West Coast is the toughest place to get the first period legs under you. You know, I don't know if it's the humidity, if it's the climate, it's the environment, but I'm pretty sure that the Devils will get better and better as this game goes on, but they don't want to get behind. And, oh, you know what? That was interesting. You never see Igor go high. I wonder if he didn't think he was going to get hit, and he was bracing himself by bringing his stick up and then wasn't able to pull out of it because he almost cross-checked Nordstrom. I think he let go with one hand, but it was definitely the right call.
Well, that's one thing Nordstrom does really well is hit. Puck banged along now by Modry, and we get a stoppage of play on a hand pass, and so the clock stopped once more.
Well, I was talking to Scott this morning, and he wants to give his brothers, Jeff, who's obviously a scout with the Devils, and Mike, who's playing over in Germany. He said, I want to give them a lot of credit for my competitors. The 3 were fairly close in age, and he said they would play ball hockey and battle each other. And then, you know, they'd switch off playing goal, and I think that's why Scott looks so comfortable blocking shots, doesn't take himself out of the play, kind of goes down on one knee. But he said our ball hockey games were like, you know, the Stanley Cup Finals every time we played, and of course, it's a real advantage to have 3 siblings that are around your same age that you can learn how to beat and be
well, if the 2 brothers were as competitive as Scott, you would think those games would last about 7 hours. and would not end peaceably. Maybe not with fighting, but at least with ill will. Well, here is Brodeur throwing it around in a good penalty kill for the Devils so far, and this one deflects back down too.
Well, he said his younger brother, 1 year younger, Mike, was the instigator. He said he used to be able to push my buttons and crank me up. Mike's had a nice career, like I say, over in Europe.
Right on with this, and throwing one just wide of the goal on a forehander was Joe Corbo. Back come the Devils, 2-on-1 short-handed. Moving on in is Pandolfo, creeps in, tried to feed it across, and it's turned eventually on to Breland. Looks to the front, dealt it to the slot. Niedermeyer is shot, and he missed the top right by not much. Now back come the Kings in the final 18 of what hasn't been nearly as good a power play as the first. Mike Camilleri brings it ahead, gave it over to Robitaille. Robitaille back to Camilleri once more. Throws one to the slot, battled for there and fished away by Colin White. Held by Miller, given over to Wisnowski again. A shot is knocked down in front by Brodeur. Turned around behind for Camilleri again. Penalty time is up. The Devils rush back out. Larionov is ahead as it's brought back in by Niedermeyer, and getting in too early was John Madden. And we get an offside call.
Well, let's take a look at this Devils lineup tonight. It was slightly offside. John not happy. And there you see who's in tonight. Up here, Grant Marshall getting a chance to play. Christian Berglund, not because he's played poorly, out of the lineup. And then Hale and Tommy Alberline paired up tonight with back-to-back games. I'm sure we're going to pretty much see everybody on this trip, I would suspect. At least everybody's hoping so. Doc, it's fun to come to the West Coast. It is a different environment from anywhere else in the country, and it's especially nice if you get a chance to play.
A couple of players cancel out by falling. It's turned back into them. And pivoting back further is Sean Avery away from Rasmussen. Knifed along further back to the point, and Alberline held for a moment. Avery still trying to force it back out. It's kept alive by Elias to the corner. Aaron Miller back there and sent it off the glass and back out, and it's hooked across. Ziggy Palffy, who is tied for third in the scoring lead in the league, is not in the game tonight because of 2 broken teeth and some facial problems, but you see how they are adjusting without him.
Well, it was Ian LePerriere right there that hit him and Palffy in the face the last game in Colorado, right at the end of the game, too. It was a nasty injury, I'm told. And there's Modry and Wisnowski, probably the 2 most important defensemen for the Kings this year. I don't want to say they're the 2 best. They lead the team in ice time. We talked to Andy Murray before the game. He's very pleased with that pairing, especially Wisnowski. He has really come into his own. And he's not a big player. He's much like Brian Rafalski, only 5'10". He spent a lot of time in the Slovak League before anybody in the NHL believed he could play here, and now he's become a star.
Here's Gomez with a shot that ricocheted off a couple of the Kings. Came back to Gomez again. Pestered by Camilleri to the point now for Stevens. Didn't get much of a shot away. And it is held for a moment, then lost to the Devils. Friesen, but shuffled back out. And so it's Dustin Brown. The rookie fed it back ahead, but Rafalski is able to chip it back out. On comes Gianta. Kings in the midst of a change. Gomez crosses, protects. Stevens holds, feeds one that's into the path of one of the Kings, and it's eventually advanced back out now for Esopirnis. Came on back for a shot that's knocked down by Niedermeyer, and then sent off the heel of a skate. The ice must be a problem here. I'm only guessing that just because of the way some of the pucks have been sticking. But we get a stoppage of play here with 9:10 to go in the first. No score and a penalty of the Kings.
Whoa! No score!
We're leaving in 5 minutes, guys.
The Mercedes-Benz C240 sedan, available with 4MATIC all-wheel drive. Disappointing kids all over the tri-state area.
Life is calling, let's start living it. Take tonight by the reins and harness it. Out to the Meadowland, on, let's go. Where winners play and adrenaline flows. It's all about being here. It's what your soul understands. It's all about being here. The Meadowlands.
Saturday night is the biggest harness event in the history of Meadowlands Racetrack, the $4 million Breeders' Crown. Come out for a night of heart-stopping, jaw-dropping, cork-popping action.
Can I help you, sir?
No thanks. I'm looking for space, great features. I got it. DVD? Oh, that's so cool.
Talk about versatile. Didn't see that yet.
Hello?
So, did you find what you want?
Yep.
Need a little help now?
Yep.
Act now. During the Chrysler year-end sales drive, get $500 holiday bonus cash. For the first time ever, get 0% financing and $500 bonus cash or up to a $4,500 total cash allowance on select 04 models. Hurry in today.
A lot of hang time on this puck. Kip Brennan waits and waits. Watch how he grabs it, and then he skates 1, 2, and throws the puck, and that's why he's in the sin bin, Doc. And the Devils have their first chance on the power play. A power play that's been mystifying. It's been real good at times, and then it's gone cold like it is right now.
You know that we call traveling more in the NHL than they do in the NBA. Here's Rafalski trying to work it ahead, and a kick back to him. The power play not getting a good start here. Came back over for a feed to Nordstrom, and Matthias Nordstrom drives it back down. Former Binghamton Ranger. Owen Campbell worked with him there. He said one of the things he had to do was he loved old Samuelson, Nordstrom, and he had a hard time getting him from leaving the play to go get a hit registered because he just liked to level hits. Here's Elliott. Knocked back over for a feed to the point. Rafalski with it there. Shooting one, and that one deflected just wide. Turned back along again in close quarters to the corner. Alexander Froloff hoping to clear, but it's snubbed onto Langenbrunner. Sealed up by Aaron Miller. And Froloff again trying to work it through Niedermeyer. Good coverage by Rafalski. Threw it to the front. Miller cleared.
Well, Devils, the only undefeated team on the road, Doc. Because of that, I'm so surprised that their power play on the road 5% better than at home. They're at home. They're just over 20% on the road.
Gomez brings it in, lays it on to Friesen. Short side shot was blocked aside by Huet and started back out again to center.
Huet was down early. Jeff Friesen had the right ID. He just couldn't hit the top shelf with the shot.
First time the Devils have seen Cristobal Huet. Gianta dropped it back. Albaline flipped it on further. Chopped on into Gianta, but he carried it in offside with 22 seconds to go on the power play.
Now, we have to call him Huet, but you know from your French class, you don't pronounce the H in French. But here we're going to see the Huet, the goaltender here. I was going to say the youngster. He's really not. He has to fight through a screen here, but he gets his arm on that. And here's the play I'm talking about. Watch the goaltender down a little early. He's already down. You see the top of the net there, but that's a tough shot to make under pressure.
Albaline to Gomez. Gomez across. Stevens a drive. Deflected wide. Around behind. Gianta battles, but it's kicked back over for Eric Belanger. Just drops it back in. Penalty time is up. Out of the box is Brennan. 3 penalties so far and no harm caused by any of them. 3 shots for the Devils on the power play, and the shot's even now at 4-4. 7 minutes left first period. Nordstrom lays it on ahead, but it came right to Colin White, and White twirls around behind. Forced further away from Hale. Rasmussen with it. Pressed further and carried off by John Sim. Laid on across now for control by Turner Stevenson. Stevenson dropped it back in, headed for it as Sergei Breland waltzed over to the wall and pushed there by Joe Corbo. Fires back along and as far as center where White grabs it.
The other thing the Devils have going tonight, Doc, other than the fact they haven't been defeated on the road, they've played a Western Conference team twice, won them both. Not seeing the West Coast offense from the Kings that you might if they were a healthy lineup.
Well, when you consider that the 3 of their centermen are on the IR, I mean, and three fair ones, would you say? Allison, Armstrong, and Stumple?
Yeah.
They'd be okay in any lineup, wouldn't they? Especially Allison and Stumple.
Yeah, and Paulsey, you know, he's been averaging 30 goals, over 30 goals a year the last 3, and that's pretty impressive in today's Zajac and hockey. So they really miss him. Andy Murray was saying, gee, I wish the puck would have hit me and put me out instead of Paulsey. But I guess it was a nasty one. Unfortunately, he hit his shield, or it would have really been even more severe.
What Laperriere was trying to do was to shoot the puck in from center and wanted to use the glass to do it, but instead just didn't do the shot very well and put it into the Kings bench, and it was the steam of a slap shot. Centering pass in front by Laperriere, kicks on back to center.
And it was Paulsey's shot who knocked Garrick Armstrong out of the lineup a few games before that. So friendly fire has been on time to the Kings here to put out 2 of their better players.
Pandolfo lobs this in. Madden trying to get away. Undoubtedly feels that he was fouled on the way, and sure enough he was. The Devils will get another power play out of this.
The more you discover about the Hyundai Elantra, the more it makes sense. It's loaded with standard features like AC and power everything. Plus, only Hyundai has America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. It's $1,600 less than a Honda Civic LX when comparably equipped. In fact, the 2004 Hyundai Elantra starts at just $13,349. When your car makes this much sense, you win. Come in now for your last chance to get a great deal on all 2003 models.
My day with the Cup was great. I had a friends of friends party. We had a catered dinner for all my good friends, well, good friends. My friends and family were about probably 80 to 100 people. So all my friends that usually sits at work and say, oh, I know this guy, you know. Now they had the opportunity to really prove that they knew me and bring their friends along to the party to see the Cup. So my shoulders were a little sore the day after, but it was nice. This is the third time, 9 years for me, bringing the Cup back home in Montreal, and it was a lot of fun again.
What's wrong with my SUV? It was fine last year.
Trust me, Pacifica's better. Look, I'm telling you, all-wheel drive, heated second-row seats, it's perfect. See?
Oh, look cool, a navigation system so we can find our hotel.
Hotel?
Oh. Go well beyond the SUV in a Chrysler Pacifica. Now during the year-end sales drive, well-qualified lessees can lease one for just $339 a month, plus get our 770 powertrain limited warranty.
Hurry to your Chrysler dealer and see how good the best values in America can be.
To the right is John Madden, and that's J. Pam Dalton. He makes almost a perfect dump. John Madden would have got to that puck first, but Trent Platt, seeing that, reached out and hooked down Madden.
So you approve of that, Minor, if you're coach of Los Angeles?
You know what? That's right. That isn't a bad penalty to take.
So no penalty laps for him in practice tomorrow.
Depends if they score or not.
Oh, I see.
Some are taking a penalty as a result.
I see.
And he's, you know, and I'll tell you, anybody who's ever got a penalty is in there praying that they don't score.
This is LaPerriere hoping to clear, but Marshall played it to the back to Niedermeyer, crisply across Rapolsky. A shot deflected in front of to save Hewitt, and then he caught a stick up high from Elliott. And it is brought back ahead by the Kings and cleared. Oh, and then a bump by Marshall on Eric Belanger. Marshall is making one of his early shifts in his return to the Devils lineup. Noisy.
Yes, and that's the one thing about Pat Burns. He puts them on the power play.
Here's Elias. Oh, and he was hooked as he let it go, and it flew wide, and it is cleared back out again by Frolov.
Burns throws out that whole line, Doc, giving Grant a chance to feel good and get his legs and be able to handle the puck a little, although Grant's role there is to go in and screen and bother the goalie, which he does very well.
Cristobal Huet lifts this one back out, and Brodeur charges after it. Brodeur plays one to the wall, shuffling it on to Niedermeyer, and Niedermeyer hands across to Rapolsky. The Devils that are out now include Giunta, Friesen, and Gomez as the forwards. Killing the penalty for the Kings, Frolov and Belanger up front. Nordstrom back with Aaron Miller. Puck shuffled to Miller's side of the ice, and Miller just throws it back out. We've had some good penalty killing tonight. The Kings are working on their 20th straight kill if they get this one accomplished. Thrown back off the glass and hacked back out again by Belanger, and so the Devils will chase down Alvaline behind and Scott Stevens to work with him. 1/4 of a minute left on the kill for the Kings. Alvaline got it across, lifted back in by Breland, stopped behind by Hewitt, plays it off the wall. It is kept alive by Stevens, though given up, and the lift back out came from Tierney.
Kid from France, the goaltender, handles the puck pretty well, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
He looks very confident. He chases them down, and then he gets a lot of mustard on the puck as he clears it.
This will be icing against New Jersey as it's touched up by Modry.
Well, what have the Devils got? They got 5 shots on goal, and this last power play, Patrick Elias added to that with this deflection right there as he's right in the face of Hewitt. And Patrick knows if you're going to score goals, if you're going to get 30, he'd love to get up to 30 again, 29 last year. He's going to have to go into that danger zone. Oh, Patrick coming off. Oh, he gets hooked just as he shot that. But he was saying, Doc, the last game against Pittsburgh felt it might have been his best game. Pat Burns echoed that, and he's building off that as he starts strong here in this first period.
Patrick has a point-a-game streak of 5 games with 6 points over that span, and probably more significant to him in the point total is the fact that he has gotten 3 goals. For a while, he was an assist man, and goal scorers don't mind that, but after a while, they start to wonder when are the goals going to come. Sure enough, they came too strong in a 2-1 win over Pittsburgh. Thrown around behind, and As we hit the last 3 minutes of the first period, Robitaille moving in and got involved in a crunch. Whether it was by design or not, brought back ahead now by Camilleri. Dropped on further, controlled by Belanger, shaked off, but then it's thrown to the front, but off of Colin White. Pivoting is Breland, and Breland dumped one ahead to Turner Stevenson. Lays it on a cross, and it skipped off of Hale's stick. Hale just tipped it back in and then is run into by Aaron Miller. And we get a stoppage of play, and a stick hold is being called against the Kings. And I believe Mike Camilleri is the guy who has been bagged for this one.
Well, the Devils take a couple early penalties, and then they settle down, and it's the Kings' turn to become undisciplined and give the Devils yet another opportunity. Let's look for number 13 in your screen. Where is he? Oh, that's a hit on Luc Robitaille down the boards. It's Camilleri up the ice that grabbed the stick of one of the Devils. Oh, right there. Yeah, good call.
Players in a heat from the resulting faceoff, and here gallops Nordstrom for the Kings. Nordstrom moving on in, handed it on to LaPerriere, who hit Rafalski with the shot. Holding the stick on Camilleri, the Devils power play is 0 for 2 with 4 shots so far. 3 on the first, 1 on the last. Lifted back along by Huet. He's pretty good, isn't he? When he works with that puck to the wall, handled by Langenbrunner. Drops it back off for John Madden. So Madden looking over the traffic, dealing it in deep to Pandolfo. Back to Madden again. Has Rafalski, decides to move in and blast one. Score! John Madden with a ripper.
Well, one ex-Michigan Wolverine makes the other one pay. Now, John Madden set this up on a tee. Boy, does he set this up. He wants Nordstrom to go down on one knee and screen out the goalie. And then John knows what's going to happen, because he knows most goalies are going to go down if they're screened. Now, watch Nordstrom here. He's going to wait. Look at John waiting. Get down there, Nordstrom. He does, and then he pops both. That's a water bottle pop shot by Madden. Oh, this is a good play by John. He waits and hammers it upstairs through the screen. And that's just a wonderful shot by John Madden. You know, John's shots, you know, he likes to shoot a lot, Doc, but it's becoming more and more accurate as his career goes on here.
Third goal of the year, and then Langenbrunner worked over pretty well by Modry. There'll be no call on this one. Pandolfo around behind to Langenbrunner again. Langenbrunner flung one in front, went off Hewitt's stick, battled for there, but picked up by Chartrand, and Chartrand hands to Yaroslav Modry, and Langenbrunner bumps into him. Figures he owes him a little more than that, too. Now, bruising around was Klatt, and flung one that went just wide. What a move by Klatt, walking right around the defense. Played around behind now and controlled by the Kings. Working it as Piernis tried to work on further and got it on to Klatt. Worked for a shot by Modry that's tipped aside by Brodeur. Klatt with it once more, got it in deep. Whirling with it, Kroloff, and he forced one off the defense, and the Devils break out in a 3-on-2 led by White. White sent it back in, and so it will just drop back for control by the Kings defense. Modry dumped it on ahead, and it went by Marshall to center. Chartrand with it in the last 44. Worked on a cross for a forehand shot that's blocked right at point of impact by Stevens, and worked ahead now for Rafalski. Nudges on the headman to Elias, crosses, tried to swing one through the defense that is knifed back out to center by Sean Avery. So Larionov connecting with Stevens in the last 26. Then Patrick Elias, spinorama move, is just flung back out to center ice by Joe Corvo. John Madden with the lone goal at 18:03. Elias and Langenbrunner get the assist on the power play goal. This is Friesen. Jeff Friesen tried to feed one in front for Giunta, blocked off by the defense. Worked free by Giunta, though. And the horn sounds to end period number 1. The shots were 6-6 in the first. And Madden rocketed home the only goal of the period with 1 minute and 57 seconds to go, to put the Devils ahead by a score of 1-0. The 2003-2004 Devils Den catalog will be available soon, and it's stocked with all new Devils t-shirts, hats, apparel, and souvenirs just in time for the holidays. Be the first to order the Devils' new line of 3-Cup logo merchandise commemorating the 1995, 2000, and 2003 Stanley Cup championships. Log on to NewJerseyDevils.com and order your catalog now. I guess that's one of the things that they're going to have for sale there. I would have thought we'd have seen a lot of Mickey tomorrow night, but that's one of the items in the Devil's Den catalog, and they encourage you to give them a call or place an order through email for their catalog in time for the holidays. Your thoughts on the first period?
Well, like I said, Devils started a little slow. It is tough on the West Coast, especially here in LA with the humidity, and you talked about the ice. It's just getting the feel, but by the middle of that first period, they got rolling pretty good.
John Madden has joined us here. That's always a good time for us. John, thanks very much, and congratulations on the goal. We were just talking about the ice conditions. Maybe you can help us with that. Does it seem strange here tonight at all, or is it typical?
I don't know. This morning it felt great. The ice, we were commenting on how great it was. So tonight was bouncing a lot already. So I'm not sure what's going on out there.
Johnny, that shot's becoming wicked. I mean, that was a brilliant play. Can you walk us through what you're thinking as it unfolds here?
Well, I was just really trying to set Brian Rafalski up for a one-timer or maybe Patty and then let him throw back door. Not usually do they lay off me like that. So when they gave me some time to shoot, I just decided to get it through and maybe a good deflection or something. And it got its way through. I don't know how it went in, but it went in.
John, when did you think the period turned? You guys looked a little sluggish to start, but seemed like the penalty killing was doing a good job.
Yeah, we've been off 3 or 4 days, and when you get penalties at the beginning of a game, some guys don't get to see the ice, so they don't get their legs going. But midway through, we started to get it going a little bit. I think because the puck's bouncing a lot, everybody's legs aren't going. I don't think they're going as well either, so no one wants to take chances when that puck's bouncing all over the place.
Okay, John, thanks for joining us.
John.
Thank you.
John Madden, who scored a goal, and he actually named his line the Chaos Line. That was back when it was a different makeup, so we'll need to get another name for him later on tonight. Because of his goal, the Devils are ahead here at the end of one.
Mike, Sue.
Yes.
Love and honor. Yep. Sickness, health.
Uh-huh.
Objections? Rings? Do you? I do. Do you?
I do.
Kiss? Husband and wife.
Next. Nextel walkie-talkies get it done.
Own the great one.
50 goals in 39 games. Thank you.
Available wherever DVDs are sold.
Okay, so we picked out the TV, the surround sound, and you already have the DVD player. Right. Okay, so my home theater question to you is this. Do you have a movie where stuff blows up?
Your home theater. It's at Circuit City. And right now you'll get a free Panasonic home theater system with this Panasonic 56-inch widescreen high-definition monitor. Just $1499.99 after mail-in rebate. Circuit City. We're with you.
Everybody should have a grip as exceptional as Hanguk. Ground control, Hanguk tires.
When you can't get to Office Depot comes to you. But please, you do need to order in advance. Shop online, by phone, or in-store, and we'll deliver the next day for free.
Next Tuesday evening, December 2nd at Continental Airlines Arena, the Devils host the Phoenix Coyotes. Game time is 7:30. Tickets for all Devils home games are available and may be purchased at the arena box office. Ticketmaster charged by phone, Ticketmaster.com, and all Ticketmaster outlets. The Devils and Coyotes at the Continental Airlines Arena Tuesday, December 2nd at 7:30. We will take a look at the other games being played in the National League of Hockey tonight after these words.
Okay, boys, take your positions. Roger that. Looks like we're taking the scenic route. Okay, back right, you've got some water. I'm on it. Okay, giant mud patch in 3, 2... Man, I love this job.
The new BMW X5 with X-Drive, a revolutionary new all-wheel drive system that watches over you, shifting power where you need it, when you need it. Lease a BMW X5 now for $585 a month, only through December 1st.
Devils win the face-off. What's up now? Oh, Gomez grabs the blue line. He shoots. He scores!
Devils The Devils take on the Phoenix Coyotes Tuesday, December 2nd at 7:30, and the Washington Capitals Thursday, December 4th at 7:30. To reserve your seats, log on to NewJerseyDevils.com or call 201-507-8900.
Garden State Brick Face Windows and Siding makes remodeling your home easy, affordable, and fast. Garden State Brick Face, a name recognized in the remodeling industry for over 50 years, has set the standard in exterior remodeling. Select from the many economical and attractive choices in durable brick, stucco, or vinyl siding. And you don't have to spend a fortune. Garden State Brick Face has the right choice for your budget. And we can help with the financing. Call today to schedule a free design consultation and in-home computer demonstration. Our professionally trained and supervised craftsmen will remodel your home, plus you'll have the satisfaction of maintenance-free and fully guaranteed workmanship. Quality and your satisfaction are number one. Your home can go from this to this in just 3 days or less with just one phone call. Call today.
The Devils are one of the hardest working clubs in the league, and Fox Sports Net works just as hard to deliver New Jersey's fans the best coverage in the game. Devils Game Night heats things up before they drop the puck with previews, features, stats, and analysis. The BMW Intermission Report brings you player interviews and up-to-the-minute game info. And stick around afterwards for the post-game wrap-up. The Devils get their due with the most comprehensive coverage all season long on Fox Sports Net.
Devils Hockey is brought to you in part by BMW. Stop dreaming, start driving, the ultimate driving machine. And by Fleet, helping you make smarter decisions with your money so you can move forward with confidence. Well, it's 1-0 by the John Madden goal. Shots were 6 apiece in the first period. Devils are ahead here. What about elsewhere? Well, UC Markkanen stopped 36 tonight. Second shutout of the season. Mark Messier got a goal with 3:10 left in the first period. That turned out to be the winner in the contest. So the Rangers with a big victory on the road. Edmonton and Columbus a 3-3 tie. Radek Dvorak tied the game with 6:51 left in regulation, and it stayed that way. Todd Bertuzzi and Marcus Naslund had a goal and an assist apiece. Naslund got the game winner, and that occurred midway in the second period. A victory by the Canucks by a score of 5-2. Atlanta led in this game 3-0, but that was it. From the 4:30 mark of the second period, away went the Senators. They got 6 straight goals, including a pair by defenseman Wade Retton to register a 6-3 road victory. Boston and St. Louis seesawed back and forth. Keith Tkachuk tied the game with 29 seconds left in regulation. Doug Weight won it with 42 seconds left in sudden death overtime. Boston gets 1 point. St. Louis gets 2 in the standings. Boston and Philadelphia right now are tied for the Eastern Conference lead with 29. John Madden the only goal here. Chico in a moment.
Hey, you're Joe Thornton, man. That's the new external, Joe. Want to try it on? I'll get it. I will. No, I will. Ah, it's all tricked out with the external scale and reflex bar. That increases stability. Oh, and flexibility. And the fit system that conforms to your foot.
Introducing the CCM Externo. Innovation meets intimidation.
Cool. I'll take them.
Okay, I'll leave my flashers on. A little bit embarrassing. Thanks. Thanks for coming out.
I'll see you at the station.
So thanks again.
No problem.
Isn't that the 3rd time this month?
Make a bold statement every time. Ford's Jewelers is the largest authorized watch jeweler in New Jersey for over 50 of the finest watch brands in the world. Choose classic styling, exquisite beauty, timeless precision. Ford's Jewelers is unmatched for selection and affordability. We also have a stunning selection of collectibles and gifts like Hummel, Disney Classics, Yadro, and much more. Gifts to be treasured for a lifetime. There's only one Ford's Jewelers. Fine jewelers quality, always at a price that will please you.
Life is calling, let's start living it. Take tonight by the reins and harness it out to Meadowland. Come on, let's go, where winners play and adrenaline flows. It's all about being here, it's what your soul understands. It's all about being here, the Meadowlands.
Saturday night is the biggest harness event in the history of Meadowlands Racetrack, the $4 million Breeders' Crown. Come out for a night of heart-stopping, jaw-dropping, cork-popping action.
Tonight's first period highlights are brought to you by BMW. Stop dreaming, start driving, the ultimate driving machine. The Kings desperately wanted to get that first goal. They're depleted offensively, and they wanted to try and get up on the Devils early, and they attacked the net. There you see Marty Brodeur with a good save. This might have been his best, though. Trent Platt breaking loose, and the check from Hale is robbed by Marty Brodeur. But it was the Devils on the power play that strike first. You had to hear it. I mean, the sound was as good as the look. John Madden just rifles this over the shoulder of Huet, the goaltender. Popped both bottles. Only goal of that first period, and the Devils seem to have gotten their legs, and they'll be back for the second period, and they'll try and protect that 1-0 lead here in L.A.
Some opportunities are too good to pass up. The Nissan Sentra.
Oh, nice ball, Walter.
Only the Fairley brothers, the directors of There's Something About Mary.
Hey, you guys are stuck together.
And Shallow Hal could make a film about brothers this close.
I'm not going another step until you apologize.
Don't you walk away from me.
Yeah, you better run.
Matt Damon, Greg Kinnear.
Let's never do anything that makes us look like total idiots.
Stuck on You.
I'm open.
Rated PG-13, December 12th, only in theaters.
What's the deal with the LG VX6000 camera phone? It's only $99.99. Want to see that deal again? At this price, it's never been easier or more affordable to snap, style, and share all those fun moments. And you can even add sound and text.
This rocks.
The coolest pictures, the coolest phone, at the coolest price. Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you.
What's wrong with my SUV? It was fine last year.
Trust me, Pacifica's better. Look, I'm telling you, all-wheel drive, heated second-row seats, it's perfect. See?
Oh, look cool, a navigation system so we can find our hotel.
Hotel?
Oh.
Go well beyond the SUV in a Chrysler Pacifica. Now during the year-end sales drive, well-qualified lessees can lease one for just $339 a month, plus get our 770 powertrain limited warranty.
Hurry to your Chrysler dealer and see how it's the best values in America can be.
Wednesday on MSG. Catch more hoops action with the Orange and Blue as Houston and the Knicks are in Minnesota to take on Kevin Garnett and the Timberwolves. The Knicks visit the T-Wolves after game night, Wednesday night, only on MSG Network.
Tomorrow, Brodeur and the Devils pay a visit to the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. Devils, Ducks, tomorrow night on Fox Sports Net.
Looks pretty nice, huh? A little chilly tonight, though. What, low 50s, I think. Devils hockey is brought to you in part by the Chrysler Crossfire. Dreamed in America, crafted in Germany. And by Office Depot, what you need to know. Well, the Devils are in California for only 2 games this year. There are 3 teams here, but they won't go to San Jose. They play in Anaheim tomorrow. And that pretty well takes care of it as far as the Pacific time zone. Look at the number of games out of an 82-game schedule that the Devils play outside the Eastern time zone. 4 in the Central. 1 of those will be knocked off this trip in Dallas. 1 in the Mountain time zone. That's Colorado. That's on this trip. And the 2 Pacific. So after this 4-game road trip in 6 days, they will have 3 games left outside the Eastern Conference there are other teams in the league that would kill for a schedule like that, or at least severely maim.
And I think, Doc, that's why Pat Burns and the team came out a couple days early, because with that kind of schedule, you're not spending much time together on the road. You're playing a game, you're flying home right after. But this is a nice road trip for everybody to get to know each other. We talked about 4 rookies, you know, and this is really when you have to spend time with each other. You want to as well, but like I said, they have a couple of dinners together and do some fun things. Some of them I know are going to the Thanksgiving Day football game in Dallas. So,
no hockey game that day, so why not? Here is Stevenson moving in. Stevenson fed in front to Freeman. He scores! Just 22 seconds into the second period.
I'll tell you, this is just a terrific move by Turner Stevenson. You know, you try and pigeonhole the Devils and put them in roles. And yes, Turner Stevenson's a physical player, and he's more of a defensive-minded guy. But look at that move. Not only does he make a great dump around his check and then sprints by him, but he faked the pass to put down the defenseman. And then he just laid it right on the stick of Breland. And this may be where the inactivity to goaltender Huet shows up, Doc. He's got to try and get that pass that goes right through the crease. But what an individual effort by Turner Stevenson. That was brilliant.
Stevenson and White get the assist on Breland's 3rd of the year at 22 seconds, and the Devils lead by a count of 2-0. Puck fed back to Vishnofsky, but he lost it to Madden. Outlets it on a cross now for Langenbrunner with Pandolfo breaking. Throws it in front. Pandolfo steered it right on goal, and Huet was able to stop it.
Well, you know, Turner Stevenson's not a stick handler. He knows that. So you talk about simple, smart plays. Now watch him over here. Watch what he does. He just lets the puck bounce off the boards around the forward, and then he makes a great move around the final defenseman. And he passed that puck hard, Doc. He knows that he's got to almost go tape to tape and hit it right on the stick of Breland, because if it's soft, someone's going to get a stick in there and intercept it. But the Devils, not a lot of scoring chances, but they've been sharp when they've had them.
What a beautiful assist.
It was. Oh.
Here's John Madden moving in. Talking with Turner this morning about the first time he ever scored in an NHL game. He said, yeah, it was that guy over there that was in goal. He pointed to Brodeur. Remember the Montreal Canadiens. I was asking him also about his first fight. He said, you know, I can't remember it.
Well,
he's a point getter.
He's had a few.
Yeah, he's had a few lately, that's for sure. He's the guy that players on other teams search out now. But here's Giunta moving in, shooting one that is knocked down by Huet. The rebound is turned along, and it is Giunta to the outside. Then along to Gomez. Gomez fed one in front, and that's away from Giunta. And controlled back to the wall and dumped back out to center ice by Dustin Brown. Robitaille swung it back in and caught a man offside. 1:57 gone in the second period. The Devils are ahead in this contest by a score of 2-0. Tomorrow night, the Devils and the Ducks from Arrowhead Pond in Anaheim at 10:30. Fox Sports Net will carry it for you, and that will be the night that Scott Stevens becomes the all-time leader among defensemen in games played.
Yeah,
and they were a lot of real soft games, too.
22 years of battling tooth and nail. And, of course, one of the keys is the fact, I think, Doc, it's sort of that he plays so hard. He doesn't take the easy way out. He doesn't put himself in a position to get hurt. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but sometimes when you let up, you tiptoe around. That's when you're most vulnerable.
Gomez fed one across the net mouth. A shot by Hale, ricochet back out to center off Dustin Brown, and it is Albaline who is able to wheel out with this one. Ladled back in by Giunta and canceled back out again by the defense. Laid on across for Robitaille, and he just spirits it around the wall. Albaline takes that near the Domino's Pizza sign, hands on to Gomez, then back on to Friesen, and back in. Well, just in case you didn't notice, I'm sure they paid a lot for that, so once in a while I mention back in the air. Puck controlled here to the outside and swung back near Marshall, tripped up on the play, and it is outletted off Larionov's stick over to Patrick Elias, who turns. Elias from Trebic, the Czech Republic, moving on the left side, shoots one across the net mouth that banked off of Marshall and is brought right back ahead to center by Sean Avery. Avery peeling off, dropping one back in deep, but going to get that is Colin White. White run into with authority by Brad Chartrand. Puck spun across the net mouth well wide, and turning with it is Elias. Elias outlets, and it went off Marshall's stick, ricochets back in deep. Tim Gleason to get it there. The rookie on defense with 3.5 minutes played here, and his team shotless in the second period. The Devils have gotten 3, including a goal. See an offside take place at the Devils line. The Nissan folks are here as our sponsors tonight, and that means trivia time. Let's look at this one. Marty Brodeur has 67 career shutouts. Which of the following NHL franchises does not have more? So one of these 4 does not have collectively 67 career shutouts, and the oldest or the youngest of those franchises goes back to 1974 when Marty was 1.5. Back ahead now come the Kings, and other franchises go back further than that you see there. The Oilers, I guess, to 79, so I should correct myself there, and then Pittsburgh at 67 with the original expansion. Unless they're counting the Hornets. You know, these guys that make up the questions, they might, it just might be that way, but I don't think so. Here's Stevens waiting behind. The Hornets were an American League team. And
oh, that's right, they were.
Trying to sneak around us here. Here's Rafalski with a pass that is too far for Breland, and Wisnowski controls.
I like the multiple choice, though.
Oh, yeah.
You know, at least, you know, you can narrow it down and not sound like too much of an idiot.
Got me through a few high school courses just on one. Here's Langenbrunner connecting to Pandolfo, and Madden was straying, and he moves in on this one and chipped one into Hewitt. And it is thrown back off the glass by Esa Piernes. Unable to get by Rafalski was Trent Platt. It's fired back in, and Brodeur steps out to stop it. Marty has had no work on goal yet this period. It's wheeled back to Nordstrom, chipped it around behind. Trent Platt once more trying to get loose to the front, not letting him is Albaline. Rolled along now for Froloff, and he's walled by Hale. Here's Froloff again, trying to get to the front. Hale right on him. Froloff trying to worm away. Handed it back on for Eric Belanger. Belanger a shot, and it's scooped right up by Brodeur.
Now, Marty Brodeur wanted to get this whistle. That was a bit of a mismatch. That's a match that Andy Murray, the coach for the Kings, would like. His big offensive line against Tommy Albaline and David Hale, the youngster. And sometimes you don't have the last change. That's just the way it goes. But you know what? The battling by Albaline and Hale, even though they were a step behind on a few of those sequences, they were able to recover and help. And the Devils, like I said many times, Doc, they won't give you, they'll give you a little, but not like a clear shot. Usually there's some sort of pressure coming from somewhere.
Off the draw, taking an inadvertent stick was Camilleri. His puck came along to Joe Corvo, flung it around behind. Try to make a connection from behind to Camilleri, but it was right to Colin White. We're going to get a penalty coming up, as knocked down to the ice was Dustin Brown, and I believe Jeff Friesen is the guy arguing the most, so he'll be the guy that will likely go for knocking down Brown. Well, you know, 5-on-5, the Devils look very solid, and what they need are some penalties. The Kings doing some power plays, and they're going to get a chance here. And Jeff's thinking, hey, I thought I did a pretty good job of coverage there. But when the feet come up, when the opposition player's feet come up, it's going to be pretty hard to avoid getting the interference call. Pat Burns with game number 101 as Devils coach, and through the first 100, his winning percentage was .640. Only Larry Robinson had one that was that high, and it was the same one, .640 in his first 100 games. And both of them have a championship to show for it, too. Here's Modray cranking it back in. Brodeur stopped it behind. Brodeur trying a handcuff there, and the puck kicked right away. Boy, some missed signals, and it's sent to center. Well, Marty and I were chuckling this morning because we were talking about, you know, some people think you should eliminate the goalie from playing the puck. He said that's some of the most exciting plays. And there we just saw an example. He's going to let this one go. Banked around to Dustin Brown, dealt around behind, and down to the ice. And meanwhile, the puck to the front battle for it, but down in a heap is Eric Belanger. And I didn't see a signal for a penalty. No. I don't think there is one, Doc, and it's just another unfortunate break in a line of many. There you see Belanger got struck with something, a stick or a puck. Another centerman. Yeah. Pete Demers, the longtime trainer out there helping Belanger. Well, you know what? Oh, you know what? He may have ran into Scott Niedermayer's stick, but it wasn't Scott using it carelessly. Oh, well, no, Scott just banged off the board. He
and he bounced on his way back. Watch the blade of 27 stick behind the net. Belanger kind of runs into it, and I think that's why the officials are not calling a penalty.
Ian LePerriere was over complaining to one of the referees, Tim Peel, but he explained to him what the deal was.
Well, you know, we talked about this before. I know that a player has to be in control of the stick, but there are some situations where it is not careless. It is strictly an accident. And I know that puts a little more pressure on the referees, but I think if you're going to be competitive, you have to cut the referee some slack on just saying it's nobody's fault. You know, like Scott Niedermayer there is not careless with his stick. He's getting run into the boards, bouncing off the boards, and that stick's flying. I'm sure Andy Murray's saying, hey, that's happened against us, and we've gotten a penalty, and I'm sure it has. But right now, the referees are going to stand with the way they saw it, and that is no extra penalty. Now here, now you tell me. Now Nieder's getting run in, Niedermayer's getting run in. Boom, he tried to play the puck, and then as he bounces off, his stick actually hit the boards, and that's what caused the force of the stick to come back into Belanger.
So it wasn't before the stick went to the boards that it came up on it. It was on the bounce back.
That's right. That's right. And I know we get a chance to look at it 3 times, so we can really dissect this thing. But Andy's saying, okay, all right, we'll look at it. But you see what I mean? Now watch, the stick is not in Belanger's face. There it hits, and as Niedermayer and the stick make contact with the boards, it pops up.
Goalies don't get distracted from that because there was a play right on Brodeur after.
Yeah.
Well, play will resume. The claret has been scraped off the ice, and we are ready to resume, and the Kings fans feel they've been done wrong here. Still 1 minute and 9 seconds left on the Friesen minor. Rafalski in the way of that attempted clear by Trent Platt. Across now to Wisnowski, bangs it in, and caught a teammate offside. So 1 minute left to go on the minor penalty to Friesen. In this period, only 2 Kings shots in the first 6:39.
This game was really turned around by the Devils' penalty killing. They didn't have much going in the first 8-9 minutes. Their best chances were when they were shorthanded. I think that gave them some confidence. It put the Kings on their heels. And the Kings' power play, since their first chance at it, hasn't been very good.
Yeah, you mentioned it looked good on the first draw, but then after that, as the penalties have come to the Devils, they have not done as well. Here's Camilleri crossed off by Rafalski. 6 of the last scoring chances in the game belong to New Jersey. Before that, 3 of the first 4 went to the Kings, and that just shows, as you pointed out by asking John Madden that question, that the game sort of turned. Here's a giveaway to Langenbrunner and a drive into the chest of Huet. Boy just stood up and took it. Roman Cechmanek would have probably made that one interesting. He's just all over. Yeah, he probably would have gonged it. Here is Brodeur. He is the backup goalkeeper, the former Flyer here. Back to the point, a shot deflected into Brodeur, and he held. They scramble, and it's knocked loose off of Brodeur and out, but not out of the zone. Played along by Robitaille, along now to Camilleri behind. Has Platt in front, but can't win the duel with Stevens. It's cleared, not out. Wisnowski with a shot. Knocked down. Another save made by Brodeur. And now the Devils outlet. His penalty time is up. Madden moving ahead with Friesen and gives to him. Friesen across. Pandolfo the shot that's deflected by the defense of Wisnowski, and it popped to the wall. Now Ian LePerriere, as we played 8 minutes of the second period. It's worked on to Robitaille. Gliding ahead. Robitaille drive held by Brodeur, and play is stopped. 2-0 Devils, second period.
I fly for business.
Business.
Business. As in making money. I need to be thinking about my meeting.
Not whether I'm going to make my meeting.
I need flights.
Lots of flights. I need cities. I need perks.
And I need to get home.
Look, if it wasn't important...
Look, if it wasn't important...
I wouldn't be flying
halfway across the country or halfway around the world.
I need an airline
that understands all that.
Next time you fly, get a lot more airline on American Airlines.
My name's Matthew Wang.
I fly American.
My name is Michael Malden. I fly American Airlines.
What do you think we should do about our dependence on foreign oil?
These are chemists and engineers at the oil companies. I mean, they know how to do research, and if there's research that exists on alternative sources of fuel, I'm not saying they should stop looking for oil, but I think it could be profitable for them to look at other ways, diversifying their portfolio.
Introducing a whole new line of over 30 power tools from Rigid that'll seriously outperform what you're using now. With exact line laser precision, batteries that charge in half the time, more torque, and the best warranty in the business. But the attachment that says the most about these tools? The pros who swear by them. Rigid, powerful, durable, professional. Buy them now at the Home Depot.
Marty Brodeur here, one of the best at doing nothing when he doesn't know what's going on. Look, he doesn't start playing around, flashing around, diving. He waits and waits until help comes, and Jay Pandolfo sneaking in, clearing a puck out of the crease. Last game, it was Scott Niedermeyer robbing one of the Penguins from a goal that was headed across the goal line.
This off Eliash's stick and retrieved by Hale. Offside. Tonight on MSG Network, get all the day's news, scores, and highlights on MSG Sports Desk, presented by Toyota. That's tonight at 2 a.m. on MSG Network. We are nearing the witching hour back east, and also holiday time, and we know that at this time a lot of people are coming back into the metropolitan area to celebrate Thanksgiving with their families. We hope your travel is safe, and if you've arrived already, that you're enjoying this game tonight. Igor Larionov with it, hands it back to Colin White.
Well, certainly the biggest win of the year for the New York Rangers tonight.
Elias fed one in front. Larionov dealt one into Huet. And then it is turned on for Niedermeyer, who kept play alive by banking it around behind. Good thump on LaPerriere by Grant Marshall. Puck ricochet back to be played by Yaroslav Modry. 11th round pick of the Devils in 1990. Modry sees this play develop to Colin White, and White waits behind.
And he passed through the influence of Larry Robinson, which he says was invaluable. Of course, Larry worked with him in training camp, and Yaroslav went up to Albany, but then did play 11 games with the Devils, and then also played for Larry Robinson here in L.A. for a bit. And he's their minute leader, Doc, in terms of average, almost 24 and a half minutes. So that tells you where he's gone from being a guy that no one was sure that he was going to make it, now to being one of the anchors of this Kings defense.
Former Albany River Rat. Freeland gives it back across. Now it's sent on to Niedermeyer. Looks up the wing, trying to fight his way free for a pass with Freeland, but it went scooting all the way by. And down for an icing touch-up. A collision between Rasmussen and one of the Kings, who is back in that corner, and a crowd gathers now.
Well, Sergei Brylin got a goal tonight. I didn't want to mention it, Doc. It's been 15 goals since Sergei's last tally. So that's going to help his confidence. But whether he scores or he doesn't, he's always doing the things that contribute to a victory. Of course, that's been the story of this Devils team. Scott Stevens telling me this morning that his play with Larry Murphy, who he is going to pass tomorrow night, was so important. They played together as a pairing in Washington, as well as on the power play, Doc, and he was saying that Larry really helped me learn how to move the puck and see the ice. And it's interesting because Larry Murphy's just the opposite to Scott Stevens. Larry was all about containment, you know, and just kind of keeping people surrounded, but not really taking the body. And of course, that's the perfect compliment, because that's what Scott wanted to do. But he really appreciates what Larry did for him, and now he's passing him. But he's tying him tonight, and we'll pass him tomorrow.
Friesen threw one in front, and it went off Gianta's stick, who was breaking right for the net. And wide, angled on back all the way to Stevens, then to Friesen, tapped ahead, hoping for Gomez, but instead he got Wisnowski. Past the halfway point of regulation time, the shots are even at 12. They were even at 6 at the end of the first. The Devils with a goal late in the first and early in the second. Madden in the first, Freeland in the second for New Jersey, as they try to lengthen that unbeaten string to 12. Again, the club record is an unbeaten string of 13. Wisnowski was just hawked enough by Gianta that his pass was lame. Came back on for him from Modry, and now they can start it back ahead. Thrown off a glass back in, and Brodeur taps. Stevens takes and cycles it on for Rafalski. Flicked on now to Friesen, and Friesen tried to drive it further, could not. Sent right on back, and they try for Froloff around behind. Jostled off by Stevens was Esopirnes. And back ahead come the Devils again. It is Gomez. Angles hoping for Langenbrunner. Langenbrunner turns. Little tap for Pandolfo. Was picked off and started back ahead. Rolled back across for a shot. That's deflected wide from the stick of Frolov. Wiping out was Piernes. Meanwhile, it's thrown back down by the Devils, and it will go for an icing. The touch up by Holland. Play stopped with 8:35 to go in the second period. The Devils have the lead 2-0.
I always liked castles when I was a child.
My wife has hobbies collecting antiques and restoring old Victorian homes. I'm an orthopedic surgeon.
Raises exotic clams.
We want to see our children have everything, including the best education.
Well, Fleet was able to come up with a plan that allowed us to put away a certain amount every month.
Banking and investing solutions from Fleet and Quick and Riley. It's just one way we help Renata and Adam Sawyer make smarter decisions with their money so they can move forward with life.
The happy and financially secure future for our children is our main goal, and have some fun in the meantime.
Now the puck's over here, but look at where Scott Stevens is looking. He's looking at the player because he wants to take the body and bump him off that puck. And then when he did recover the puck, under pressure, he makes a pass up the boards through a couple of kings. I mean, Doc, that is smarts, that's strength, that's skill. That was a terrific pass. And what a breakout. Devils break out of their end as well as any team in the league.
Chartrand over to Leperrier. Around now, Sean Avery with it. Looks for Chartrand. Put it off Brodeur. Grabbed by Pandolfo. Couldn't clear it out. Second effort by Hale. And it's rung back out to center. So Aaron Miller connects back across and gets it again from Tim Gleason. Gleason flips it ahead, and the pass was over two lines, and so play is stopped. Let's get the Nissan Trivia Quiz answer for you now. You've got a choice of 4. Marty Brodeur has 67 career shutouts. Which of the following NHL franchises does not have more? I will guess Edmonton, because of all those great years with Grant Fuhr. Usually give up 1 or 2 and they'd get 9.
I'm going to say LA.
All right, let's see.
Oh, very good, Doc. Very good.
Grant's in the Hall of Fame, but he had a lot of surprises back there because his defense would be at the other end of the ice scoring goals.
Yeah.
I don't need to tell you that would happen sometime.
Well, Grant may, and I don't know this for a fact, but Grant may be the goalie in the Hall of Fame with the highest goals against average. But, as I said many times, if I had to pick one goalie in their prime to play one series, it would be Grant Fuhr. With all due respect to everyone else, there's been some great ones, but when Grant was on, oh my, there was none better.
He looked pretty good outdoors in 0-degree weather in Edmonton, didn't he?
Yeah.
Had the glove working pretty well, too. That was Saturday in the old-timers game. I told Jacques Leperrier this morning if he'd have been in the game, Montreal wouldn't have lost. And he said, I no longer play. Neutralized play on an offside pass with 7:39 to go in the second. You're just joining us here. It is in Eastern time about 7 before midnight out east, but it is a 12-12 shot game. 2-0, and a fire wagon change to get the guys on in time for the face-off. They just made it. The linesmen were going to drop it. That's all a part of the discipline of this. 25 bench minors for Los Angeles last year. That led the league. And it could very well have been that some of those came after the initial warning for not arriving at face-off. There were too many men on the ice penalties there. Pretty good thump on Grant Marshall. Meanwhile, Elias tried to flip to the front. Niedermeyer moves in for it and curls. Got Colin White at the opposite point. Shoves it to him, though. Not to Niedermeyer, and the shot floated right in on Hewitt, and he grabs to stop play.
Well, Scott Niedermeyer, 4 goals, all on the power play. And the Devils moving the puck up the ice in a hurry. Defensemen have been very involved, and that's really has been the key. Now watch right there. Oh, you see Igor Larionov? Doc, the Kings player was going to grab that puck, but he lifted his stick, and that allowed that forecheck to continue. What a smart play by the veteran. Yeah, you know, we saw Stevens earlier. I mean, the Devils are a very smart team. On top of everything else, boy, they talk about doing the little things game after game. It's so important and done so well by the Devils. And maybe that's why we don't look at them as a star-studded team.
This is Robitaille, chased down by Rafalski. Little pass finesse back. Rafalski got it to Turner Stevenson, who cleared. Igor will have his 43rd birthday next Wednesday. Here's Stevens taking his man out. Meanwhile, it's hooked back along and out to center ice.
Well, they put all those candles on that cake, Doc. They better have a fire extinguisher.
Not nice.
Well, that'll be special, boy. Not many guys have played after their 34th birthday.
The last guy to do so was a Mr. G. Howe, who at 52 played his last game in the NHL in 1980. And Igor certainly has the will and the smarts, as you were just pointing out with that one replay a moment ago.
Voskresensky, that's one of the towns in Russia I have been to. It's south of Moscow, Doc. It was the scariest ride. It was about 90 miles, no white line in the middle. We're in a bus, and it's whoever can get out in the passing lane first. You got 3 lanes, but there's no dividing the lanes. It's sort of like a game of chicken all the way up there.
Were you over to play hockey, or were you a political prisoner?
I almost ended up that. We were.
Here's Gomez
on the black market.
Gomez, pretty strong shot, handled by Huet. Gianta shot, and that one flew wide. Hale kept it, but flipped one that was knocked down and brought back out by Klatt. Jabbed back along further by Jonathan Sim, who had quite an exchange going with Hale. Meanwhile, it is pulled away from the wall by Trent Klatt. Protects pretty well. All around to Frolov. Frolov trying to shake the defense. Still hasn't done it. Frolov now gets a little bit of an opening, but that closed by Hale. Around behind and turning with it once more is Jonathan Sim. Got it along to Frolov again as they try to work a cycle with the referee in the middle. Now out in front. Poked away by Alvaline. Loose puck in front. Hooked loose, and then Brodeur puts a little lumber on one of the Kings. Turning with it again in this very long cycle is Jonathan Sim. Around behind, Frolov with it. The Kings are very persistent here. Frolov dropping it on to Sim again. Sim put it around behind to Klatt. Klatt worked on by Gianta. Then Gomez moves in, knocks it away. It's forced along the wall. The Devils will hope to clear, but Friesen turned back, poked it into Brodeur's glove, and he says, I've had enough. 4:35 to go second period. It is 2-0 New Jersey.
ACC basketball returns to Fox Sports tonight. Preseason All-American Julius Hobbs looks to thrust NC State back to national prominence against Wisconsin-Milwaukee. NC State, Wisconsin-Milwaukee. ACC Sunday Night Hoops returns December 7th on Fox Sports Net.
Fox Sports Net. My day of the Stanley Cup, we had some great pictures with nice scenery.
They've lost the Stanley Cup in Toronto, so we got it a day later.
We had golf tournament early in the morning. We took it to my old hockey rink where I used to play.
We brought it to a bar back in Stockholm, Sweden. I enjoyed it with people in Anchorage.
There was a lot of partying. We had a parade. All of my family and friends were eating a huge sundae out of the cup. This gave the opportunity to the community to see the cup. Every day I've had the Stanley Cup, it's been beautiful.
Grand Cherokee, Liberty. You didn't try one of these, did you? No.
Maybe. They're tough to resist, especially during the Jeep year-end sales drive, where well-qualified buyers can buy a 2004 Jeep Liberty for $269 a month for 39 months and get our 770 powertrain limited warranty. Hurry to your Jeep dealer and see how good the best values in America can be.
Offensive right circle faceoff for the Kings. It'll be Madden against Robitaille, or I beg your pardon, against LaPerriere. And it is won by Madden. Stepping to it is Colin White, pursued there by Sean Avery. White able to bring it ahead and play one off Madden. Has to play it on back again, and his roll out there to buzz around a little bit. Niedermeyer coasting on, shooting, and that's deflected wide. Give the Kings a little energy. And that is nothing new in the game of hockey. Hound Kelly used to do it for Philadelphia a quarter century ago. Thrown in front, and that skipped loose off Colin White, who retrieves, and Chico undoubtedly remembers more from even further back. Puck taken by Chartrand and thrown right into the paraphernalia of Brodeur, and a little extra coming from Brodeur as he was bumped making the play and decided to go right back at the guy.
Well, see, you mentioned the Hound, and then we get some old-time hockey here as that Avery guy you were talking about is Marty Brodeur shot trying to shake down that puck. And this was a grind line here for the Kings as they had Ian LePerriere as well as Sean Avery. And watch here, Marty's got it up high, little elbow, and then the pile on.
And Niedermeyer will pay for piling on, standing up for his goalkeeper in that instance, and so Avery is going to be penalized too. And that is not a part of what his strategy was. The idea was to be a pest and lure the Devils into a penalty, which by running the goaltender or bumping into him, he was able to do. And Andy Murray is not happy with the way things are going from the stripes and the armbands tonight. But these will both cancel. 2 minutes each to Niedermeyer and Avery. High sticking to Niedermeyer and roughing to Avery. It is Rafalski chipping one on. It is laid back out as far as center, and Modry took over there. Then to Vishnowsky. Back to Modry. So 4 aside. Modry walks it on. A shot handed away by Brodeur. Rafalski cancels with Camilleri. Down to the ice went Elias. Gets back up and checks the number. It is that of Luc Robitaille. Larionov drops it on back. Rafalski back on to Larionov again. Gains the zone and plays it gently off the wall, hoping for Elias, and he got him. Vishnowsky on him defensively. Help came from Larionov. Puck came back to center. Rafalski retreating, and Stevens comes across to take over. Deflected by Larionov, and it bounced back to him. Just over 3 minutes to go in the second period of this contest tonight from Los Angeles. The Devils, with a 9-0-2 record in the last 11, have gone a month without losing a game. Trying to keep that string going. Here's Krolov, a shot deflected to the mesh by Rafalski, and it's time to take a look at this bit of action brought to you by Mohegan Sun, the Devils hockey moment.
Well, it was February 26, 1989. That's Chris Terreri working some magic as he robbed Marty McSorley, and then Wayne Gretzky, 26 saves that night. John McLean, who's here, of course, with the Devils as an assistant, scored the tying goal on the power play.
And that was that Mohegan moment.
And that was a defining look by Chris Terreri. I could see that over in my mind where he makes that save and that glove goes up. Chris did that a lot of times. He was a fun goalie to watch.
And they are watching him as the backup now in Albany. Puck knocked away by Albeline. Frolov back right after it. Wiped out. Puck cleared to the point. Held there. Swung back across. Corbo a shot. Juggled but held by Brodeur. The Albany River Rats were idle. I guess we can say for the Eastern Time Zone, idle last night, but they'll be playing tonight against Hershey in Hershey and host Philadelphia Saturday. But Yuri Bisek has 6 points in the last 4 games and is second on the team in scoring. And Chris Terreri is the backup goaltender and assistant coach because Scott Clemenson is here. Corey Schwab did not make the trip owing to that groin injury, and so Clemenson is here in case Marty Brodeur needs relief.
So do you think Chris Terreri's double dipping, getting paid as a player and as a coach?
I don't know. That would be a question to ask him. And I'm sure that he would tell you because there is a goalies union. Here is Miller moving ahead. He might be secretive to the rest of us, but he would tell you. Miller trying to outfight Friesen, nudges a pass over, but unable to work by the defense. And out of the box, Avery intercepts a pass that might have sent Gomez ahead on a breakaway. And here comes Huet. And chaos is starting to reign here. Long toss ahead to Klatt. Devils will settle that down probably as crossing is Avery. Throws it on across further. And trying to play is Tim Gleason. Puck fed to the front, and it is Stevens able to calm things down with a pass ahead to Jay Pandolfo. puts on the brake and swings it around as we're under 90 seconds to go in the second period. Gleason pivoting, bumped off, but recovered to poke a pass ahead to Klatt. And Klatt just flings one into the glove of Scott Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer accelerating ahead, lays a pass for Madden, moving in, Langenbrunner cruising on in, around behind, and the net dislodged by Miller. And we have a stoppage in play, and I think we're going to get a penalty on this for displacing the net, sure enough. We have seen before where this has happened, where it has not been penalized and the faceoff has been moved to center, but this time it is in fact a penalty.
And Miller lost sight of what was going on because Langenbrunner's already behind the goal line after his fake. Miller wouldn't have really had to knock that net off, but he thought Langenbrunner was going to have a layup. But there you see Miller running into John Madden, and then the net. Eric Belanger hasn't returned either, so the Kings down by 2 on the scoreboard, and another man being stitched up in the dressing room.
Devils fans will remember a game at the Old Forum in Inglewood when one of the Devils displaced the net under 2 minutes to go in regulation time, and that was a penalty shot. Luke Robitaille took it, and Sean Burke stopped him. Puck to the back now, Rafalski hands on to John Madden. Madden just looks over the traffic, deals it in deep. Elias with it there, back to Madden again. Madden to Rafalski, walks it, shoots it, save, rebound, score! Huet bumped into by Elias. He's storming because he feels he was interfered with, but the Devils get a power play goal, and it's 3-0.
Well, let's hope that this is a clear indication of Patrick Elias being pushed into the goaltender, because if he's not, Andy Murray's going to go crazy. Now, there's Patrick up here. Now, let's see, is he pushed? Oh, no. Oh, no, that should not be a goal. That should not. Look at Patrick just backs into the goaltender. The goaltender has to be able to play the puck. And I was hoping that Patrick got pushed in, but nevertheless, the Devils get the 3-goal lead, and that was Niedermeyer, his 5th power play goal.
Well, it's up on the board, and when it appeared on the board, the fans booed it. You would expect them to, and Andy Murray is not at all pleased with the way things have gone here in the second.
Wait till he sees that replay.
And that is something that, of course, now is just a matter of fact. As a matter of fact, it was probably told to him on a headset from inside the video room where they did see it. Well, we're down to the last 10 of the period. Niedermeyer tried to bump it ahead, ricocheted on back. He and Camilleri go to the corner, and what is likely the last flourish of the period. Stevens on now for Rasmussen, and that is it. 10 shots apiece in the second period, 16 apiece through 2. But the Devils have 3 goals. Niedermeyer with the power play goal from Rafalski and Madden at 19:16 of the period. Tuesday evening, December 2nd at Continental Airlines Arena, the Devils host the Phoenix Coyotes. Game time 7:30. Tickets for all Devils home games are available and may be purchased at the arena box office. Ticketmaster charged by phone. Ticketmaster.com and all Ticketmaster outlets. The Devils and Coyotes, Continental Airlines Arena, Tuesday, December 2nd at 7:30 p.m. Okay, with 2 periods having been played, the Devils have a 3-0 lead. And in the contest, we talked early about how the Devils didn't start very quickly in this one, and the Kings were really taking it to them. And you said that you thought it changed when the Devils went shorthanded. What about the second period?
Well, I thought the Devils would get better as this game went on, just because the feel at the practice this morning and in the room was that they wanted to really get this streak going into the teens, and who knows how far. But I think this team recognized it can break their own personal record, and they want to do that. And Doc, they're just winning all the battles. They haven't made many mistakes, and when they have, they've been able to recover and help each other out, and then they've gotten the 3 goals.
Well, one of the best board battlers there is, and also stick handlers, as we saw in that second period. Turner Stevenson has joined us. Your thoughts on the game so far, Turner?
Well, I thought we're pretty good here for having a long layoff. We were a little slow to come out of the gates, but not playing since last week, and a couple days off. It looks like we're well rested, and we're playing our system. We're playing a good road game. We've been doing it all year.
Turner, just a brilliant assist. Can you walk us through what's going on here?
Well, they've been really standing us up, so we knew that, and I knew they saw the guy coming and just kind of bounced for me off the wall properly, and then we had a little mini 2-on-1 I just put over there for Sarge. He finished off, so it's nice that we all contribute, and we're just rolling the 4 lines. We're playing well tonight, and it's a big goal. The third is always the big goal leading into the third period here, so we're get a rest here, and we'll come back and try to finish it off here.
Well, you lent the Devils a wonderful spark when you came back in the finals last year, and early in this season when you came back, it was certainly noticeable. How do you feel?
Actually, I feel great now. It's this layoff's kind of helped me out. I feel, you know, the days in between, you know, you got to try push yourself hard in practice every day. Missing training camp, you also have to make sure you don't overdo it. I think I came back, played well the first 2-3 games, and I kind of overdid it in practices. I was kind of, you know, lacking energy for, you know, last 4 or 5 games after that. But the last 3-4 games, I feel good. You know, I got my jump back, and, you know, feel like I'm contributing out there and playing hard.
Well, you sure have. We wish you all the best.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, Turner Stevenson, our guest here at the end of 2. His team is ahead in the game by a score of 3-0. We'll take a look at what else is going on in the NHL last night after these words.
Guys, Wiener World. What's going on? Yeah. Wiener World, how high? You want to meet Wiener World? No? Hi, guys.
Hot dogs love Pepsi. Pepsi loves hot dogs. Pepsi. It's the cola.
I always liked castles when I was a child.
My wife has hobbies collecting antiques and restoring old Victorian homes. I'm an orthopedic surgeon.
Raises exotic clams.
We want to see our children have everything, including the best education.
Well, Fleet was able to come up with a plan that allowed us to put away a certain amount every month.
Banking and investing solutions from Fleet and Quicken Riley. It's just one way we help Renata and Adam Sawyer make smarter decisions with their money so they can move forward with life.
A happy and financially secure future for our children is our main goal, and have some fun in the meantime.
Okay, I'll leave my flashers on. A little bit embarrassing. Thanks. Thanks for coming out.
I'll see you at the station.
And thanks again.
No problem.
Isn't that the 3rd time this month?
It's not fast food. It's Applebee's Food Fast. Pick it up, take it home. It's Applebee's to go. Eating good in the neighborhood.
They're as close as 2 brothers can be. What could possibly come between them?
Well, what do we have here?
Hey, you guys are stuck together.
Hey, don't you walk away from me.
Yeah, you better run. From the directors of There's Something About Mary.
You guys are fun.
Stuck on You.
Hey, what's the 4-letter word for snatch?
Grab. Oh, right. Right. Oopsie.
Rated PG-13, December 12th, only in theaters.
Hey, there's Mickey. 2003-2004 Devil's Den catalog will be available soon. And he's there, and so is the puck next to him. All kinds of Devils t-shirts, hats, apparel, and souvenirs just in time for the holidays. Be the first to order the Devils' new line of 3-Cup logo merchandise commemorating the 1995-2000-2003 Stanley Cup Championships. Log on to NewJerseyDevils.com and order your catalog now. The Fox Sports Net staff has compiled and edited all of the scores and the goal scorers and goaltenders from the other games. We'll have it for you in a moment.
Okay, boys, take your positions. Roger that. Looks like we're taking the scenic route. Okay, back right, you've got some water. I'm on it. Okay, giant mud patch in 3, 2... Man, I love this job.
The new BMW X5 with X-Drive. A revolutionary new all-wheel drive system that watches over you, shifting power where you need it, when you need it. Lease a BMW X5 now for $585 a month, only through December 1st.
What's the deal with the LG VX6000 camera phone? It's only $99.99. Want to see that deal again? At this price, it's never been easier or more affordable to snap, style, and share all those fun moments. And you can even add sound and text.
This rocks.
The coolest pictures, the coolest phone, at the coolest price. Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you.
Are you taking hard vitamin pills that may not be fully dissolving in your body? See, this represents what happens inside you. Do you know that some hard vitamin pills may not be fully dissolving in your body? Finally, there is a liquid vitamin and mineral supplement called Daily Complete that works and tastes great. You get 211 vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, fruits, vegetables, and important herbal ingredients in just 1 ounce a day. Just watch how fast it dissolves. Most of my patients see incredible results.
The Daily Complete gives me lots of energy. I need that energy to keep up with my 5 children.
I only take 1 ounce a day, and it gives me an energy boost that is unbelievable.
The energy level went up with me.
My mood is actually more consistent. It doesn't go up and down during the day.
I look better. I feel better. It's got a great orange flavor to it.
Try it. It's a 100% money-back guarantee. You take 1 ounce a day. It replaces as many vitamins as you have in your cabinet.
Put your health first. Order Daily Complete right now.
The President of the United States.
It was quite a hectic day. It was a lot of fun. Had a gorgeous day.
Scores from around the league brought to you by the Biff Burger scoreboard. Our special this week is mint-flavored meatballs. The Rangers 2-0 over Tampa Bay. UC Markkanen got his second shutout of the season. Mark Messier the first goal, and it turned out to be, of course, the winner. Ortmeyer also scored his very first NHL goal for the Rangers in that contest. Edmonton a 3-3 tie with the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight before 16:465 at Nationwide Arena. Radek Dvorak tied that game up with 6:51 left in the third. Brad Isbister and Ales Hemsky also scored for Edmonton. In other contests on a 5-game night, Vancouver with a 5-2 victory in Montreal. I said earlier Marcus Naslund had 1 goal and an assist. He had 2. Wade Redden with a pair of goals as Ottawa came from 3-0 down to get 6 unanswered goals and defeat red-hot Atlanta by a count of 6-3. And Boston lost to St. Louis in overtime by a score of 4-3. Joe Thornton and Dallas Drake took coincidental double roughing penalties at the end of regulation time, so they were largely unavailable when Doug Waite scored the overtime winning contest for the Blues. That's a look at the scoreboard, the highlights with Chico after these important messages.
Everybody should have a grip as exceptional as Anguk. Ground control. Anguk tires.
Devils win the face-off. What's up now? Oh! Gomez grabs the blue line. He shoots. He scores!
Devils hockey. The Devils take on the Phoenix Coyotes Tuesday, December 2nd at 7:30, and the Washington Capitals Thursday, December 4th at 7:30. To reserve your seats, log on to NewJerseyDevils.com or call 201-507-8900.
Tonight's second period highlights are brought to you by BMW. Stop dreaming, start driving, the ultimate driving machine. Devils were hanging on a 1-0 lead. And then the big man, Turner Stevenson, through the neutral zone. What an outside-inside move to get around that check. Freezes a defenseman and passes a rocket over to Sergei Brylin, who puts the brakes on. And Devils stop in front of the net, and it pays big dividends for Sergei Brilin as he's able to get some force behind that and shovel it in. Now on the power play, Devils work some nice puck movement here, but watch what happens. A shot by Rafalski, and it's Scott Niedermayer who scores the goal. Actually, Patrick Elias bumps the goaltender Huet, and that's a big reason why this puck ends up in the net. Watch 26, backs into the goaltender, puts him down. But this was set up by this great play. Now this is Scott Niedermayer. This is the route he's taken. This is the power play. You say, what's he doing going behind the net? Well, he's getting lost. And he arrives just at the right time. No one picks him up because they haven't seen him come from behind the net, and he's the one who finds the puck and drills it home. And the Devils in full control here as they lead by 3, and they want to not only win this game but try and get the big shutout for Marty Brodeur. We'll be back in just a moment.
It's dark, isn't it?
Grand Cherokee, Liberty. You didn't try one of these, did you?
No. Maybe.
They're tough to resist, especially during the Jeep year-end sales drive, where well-qualified buyers can buy a 2004 Jeep Liberty for $269 a month for 39 months and get our 770 powertrain limited warranty. Hurry to your Jeep dealer and see how good the best values in America can be.
There's a man who leads a life of danger. To everyone he meets, he stays a stranger. With every move he makes, another chance he takes. Odds are he won't live to see tomorrow.
Nothing makes a sandwich like a Pepsi. It's the cola.
I'm very driven and very ambitious. Probably has a lot to do with my background. Grew up one of 8 kids, raised by my mother. We didn't have very much money, so college wasn't an immediate option for me. I went back to school at 27, got my MBA law degree. Now I've got a lot of loans. Fleet's helped me with everything. Checking, savings, IRAs. I even invest there.
Banking and investing solutions from Fleet and Quick and Riley. It's just one way we help Eric Evans make smarter decisions with his money so he can move forward with life.
I wouldn't change a thing.
Some opportunities are too good to pass up. The Nissan Sentra.
Devils hockey brought to you in part by Men's Warehouse. You're going to like the way you look. Men's Warehouse. My partner needs a tie. By Home Depot. You can do it. We can help for tomorrow. And by Nissan and your Nissan dealer. Well, when Andy Murray was waiting at the bench all by himself before his players came back because he wanted to get in one more shot at the referees in advance of the third period.
You know which end he's pointing to? He saw the replay that we saw, Patrick Elias bumping in and knocking down his goaltender. And what's too bad, Doc, is 2-0. You know what? 1 goal, you're within 1. It's a huge difference. But when you're down by 3, especially against New Jersey Devils, it's almost insurmountable, and Andy is just fuming. And, well, I guess he should be. We'll check for you and see if Eric Belanger, who was cut in the second period, I'm sure Andy thought that maybe should have been a penalty to Scott Niedermayer. Think about it, Scott Niedermayer could have been thrown out of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Instead, he doesn't get a penalty. He comes back and scores a 3rd goal. It was a huge play, and Belanger did take the face-off, so good news for the Kings. He is back.
Andy probably doesn't know. Tim Peel, the referee that he was talking to there, told me that he's working the Kings game in Phoenix on Thanksgiving night and then coming back here for a game on Saturday. So Andy will get more shots toward him if he wants. I don't think that was Tim's call on the goal. I don't think he was the deep official at the time, but as the senior guy, he's the one that usually moves over and has those conversations. Here's Rasmussen, a shot, and that one shrugged right into the glove by Huet. Let's take a look at the scoring summary brought to you by Fleet, helping you make smarter decisions with your money so you can move forward with confidence. Madden had the goal in the first period. Now to the second period scoring summary that you see there. Breland from Stevenson and White, Niedermayer from Rafalski and Madden. That was the power play goal at 19-16. The Devils with a pair of power play goals in this game tonight. It is Chartrand losing to Madden. Then on back to Scott Stevens. Stevens lobs it back in. Pandolfo scurries after that one. But it's punched away from him right to Langenbrunner. But the centering pass was blocked and brought right back ahead. Chartrand cruising on in, watched by Rafalski. It's dealt around behind. Fed out to the front by Camilleri, right back for a drive, and that deflected wide. Madden locked up and thrown down to the ice. The lean applied by Sean Avery. Meanwhile, the puck kicked in front, and it went off Stevens. Thrown back now for LaPerriere again. Trickled it behind for Chartrand. Stevens knocked that aside and then was run into from behind, and there'll be a penalty coming up, and it will be on the Kings. Little pass ahead was away from Madden, touched by Wisnowski, and a cross-checking penalty as Stevens was knocked down. And there will be a power play coming up to New Jersey with a chance to bury the game here. 3-0 in Los Angeles early in the third.
Oh, there you see the push by Sean Avery from behind on, I think it's on Scott Stevens, yeah, the captain. And that's a good call. You know, it's too bad for the Kings and Avery. They had a good cycle going. That line was getting some ice time. They were playing well. And for taking on discipline penalty like that doesn't help the cause when you're down by 3.
We all make choices, and that was one that he'll probably hear about from his coach. Thrown around now by Marshall. Then for Elias, but then jabbed back out to center and just away from the breaking winger, Alexander Frolov. Some teams penalty kill historically with the best defensive players, and others with guys who are not only capable defensively, but have good offensive skills, and Frolov would be an example of that. Puck fed to the front for a quick shot that went wide from Patrick Elias. Right back ahead comes Frolov again, sized up by Tommy Albaline. Frolov looking for help, but the Kings are in the midst of a change, so he'll just skate it out.
I like that kid. That Frolov is going to be a player, Doc. He plays hard. Boy, he's always around the puck. He sticks his nose in there, wins battles for the loose puck, and a great set of hands and vision to go with it.
Part of the gold medal World Junior Championship team from Russia a couple of years ago. That's thrown in on Brodeur, right back to Rafalski. And then outletted ahead for Scott Gomez. Gomez lobbing it back in to the Niedermeyer corner now. Niedermeyer closed off. Puck jabbed back along, though, for Friesen, then to Rafalski, then on for Niedermeyer again. Buying a little space for Rafalski's drive. Deflected into the helmet mask. Rebound, and that popped apparently off the post. The way it kicked back out, or maybe Hewitt got it. Out of the net mouth scramble, difficult to tell. Back ahead, Rafalski lays it on now for Gomez. Deals it wide to the right of Hewitt, and he just scoops it around now for a little pass to LaPerriere and the clear. 20 seconds still to kill. Rafalski. Back ahead, Rasmussen. Deals it behind Gomez. Chipped it in front, and it went off of Giunta. Started back ahead by the Kings as they roll it along for LaPerriere. 4 seconds and 3. Forehand shot with something on it by Corbo was wide, and Rasmussen deals it on back. It's rattled on around and waiting for it out of the box. Avery a drive. Save made by Brodeur. Rebound turned into Avery again. Then he's smeared by Stevenson. And back ahead now it's Rasmussen. As he touches Stevenson will be penalized. And so the Devils will be shorthanded.
Now what's this one here? Turner's not happy. Okay, I'm not going to say anything, Doc, because it doesn't really matter what I think. It's a roughing call. Turner says, you have got to be kidding. Now watch 24 here. He's going to hit Avery, but look at Avery's falling, Doc. He hits him with his forearm. I mean, you want to call it an elbow maybe because Avery's so low, but that's not a penalty. Oh, okay. Anyway, that's it. I'm not saying anymore because, you know what? The referees know they're in a bind, and it's going to be pretty tough to tell what they're going to call. And so we're just going to have to live with whatever their decisions are.
Just to let you know, the truck did not say anything to Mr. Resch, and I did not signal him. He just started thinking about it and decided I'm bailing.
Well, you know what? I don't like announcers that talk about the calls in the game and penalties because it doesn't really matter, does it, what we think in those terms?
Well, the people can also see that, and also in particular the one you pointed out when Elias was interfering with the goaltender, and it counted. And so this is one of those nights that the guys would probably like to have over the men in stripes, at least in some points of this game when it started to affect it. All right, now Stevenson in the box, 30 seconds gone on the power play for the Kings. It's rattled around past Brodeur to Camilleri. Loose puck is fed out front by Frolov, and unable to get a shot away was Robitaille. Still they work the wall, and it is off of Trent Platt, cleared into Wisnowski, tapped back out by Sergei Breland, and Breland is able to play it on back to Colin White. And Niedermeyer, as well as Langenbrunner, the penalty killers, as it sailed back down.
I like that number 13, that Camilleri, Doc. He really has some good hockey sense and great skill.
Just came back from the American Hockey League team in Manchester a week ago. Pretty good thump there, and getting up somewhat slowly is Jay Pandolfo, but he seems to be okay, just adjusting an elbow pad. Meanwhile, he searches out Belanger. Puck swept out to center, and Modry has this. 40 seconds to go on what has not been a potent Kings power play tonight, or particularly in this case. Brought back ahead by Wisnowski, checked off by Madden. On the wall, it's flipped back in, and deep to play. This is Belanger. Belanger worked it back to the point to Modry. Modry flips now for Frolov. Lost it off his stick, and then it's spiked away by the defensive-minded forwards for the Devils. Loose puck is held off by Stevens so that Rafalski can clear. And back down on Huet it comes, and the handful of fans who are inclined to boo choose this point to do it. We're down to the last 2 and 1, and out of the box is Stevenson. So done right or done wrong, it did not cost the Devils at this point. Bashed back in by the Kings and set up by Brodeur. This is Hale. Marshall. Marianoff. Run into by Kip Brennan. Puck came back to Hale. Across for the drop back in by Albeline. Rescued by the Kings defense. Marshall bumps a man, comes up with it, feeds Larionov onto Elias. Feeds in front of Marshall, but then now Elias carried it behind and played one in front. Boy, he faked me out, and I do apologize. I just miscalled that. Fed back to center. I thought the fake. So I thought he had the guy there, and he went around behind. So it is laid back out again by Hale. And Larionov. Then back across from Hale to Albeline, and on now to Marshall.
Well, that'll make him feel good, Doc, if he faked you out. It's one thing to fake out a player down on the ice, but you up here, that's... No, he surprised everyone with that. That was kind of like the play that John Madden made a couple games ago.
Here's Avery feeding it on back and taking his own pass. Now to the back for a shot that is deflected wide from the stick of Tim Gleason. Around it came now to Gomez. Lays one out that ricocheted off of Giunta. Nudges it on further, and Niedermeyer pumped it back in. Rushing back is Friesen. Huet flipped it away from him off the glass. Kept by Giunta and thrown to the front. That ricocheted off of King. And around it came now for some control by LaPerriere. Threw it by Chartrand and down for an icing touch-up that'll freeze the clock with 12 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the third period. And the Devils still in the lead by a score of 3-0.
I got tickets to the game tomorrow night. I wasn't sure if you wanted to go.
Well, it doesn't sound like you want me to go.
What? Of course I want you to go. I just thought maybe, you know, with the crowd and all that.
You'd probably have a better time with Gary.
Gary? No.
Why don't you ask Gary? And we'll hook up on Saturday.
Okay. If you're sure.
I'm sure.
Okay, bye-bye. You're in.
Yes! I'm out!
Life is calling, let's start living it. Take tonight by the reins and harness it out to Meadowland. Come on, let's go, where winners play and adrenaline flows. It's all about being here, it's what your soul understands. It's all about being here, the Meadowlands.
Saturday night is the biggest harness event in the history of Meadowlands Racetrack, the $4 million Breeders' Crown. Come out for a night of heart-stopping, jaw-dropping, cork-popping action.
When you think about the most important moments in your life, what were you wearing? Every man should own at least one suit. We invite you to buy yours from us.
100% wool suits, starting at $200.
You're gonna like the way you look. I guarantee it.
Men's Warehouse. To contact the store nearest you, call 1-800-776-SUIT.
Devils Ducks tomorrow 10:30 on Fox Sports Net. Technically today, for those of you in the Eastern time zone, the only time that the two Stanley Cup finalists will meet this season. The Kings will be back to play in New Jersey, a Sunday matinee later in the season. Breland along now to Turner Stevenson, shouldered off by Camilleri, much the smaller player, but he's game, isn't he? Thrown back to the point now for Hale. Laid back on by Stevenson for Breland. Works it on now for Rasmussen, who was bolted out of the way that time by Gleason on defense. A shot ricocheted off a skate in front and went wide. Gleason got in the way of that one. Luke Robitaille drops back defensively and then works a pass out to Camilleri. Turned on now for LaPerriere to drop back in. Back for it goes Albaline. Jabbed it back to the wall, racing in Langenbrunner. The Devils are in the midst of a change too. Tommy Albaline along now to Hale, along through Pandolfo and back down, but short of icing. Yaroslav Modry takes over. Gliding by was Belanger. They worked the pass over to Wisnowski. Back to Modry again. Banged on through Wisnowski, but Rafalski grabs it for the Devils and hands across to Scott Stevens. Then Langenbrunner, and then back. And we get a stoppage of play on a two-line pass. 11:23 to go, third period. Devils have the lead in the game, 3-0 in the City of Angels tonight.
Well, I mentioned this Camilleri earlier, Doc, and you know he's from Michigan. You always know those guys. But look at this work along the boards. This is what I like. Yeah, he's good in open ice, but what about in traffic? He doesn't give up. But look at how he stays with Stevenson, or Turner would have got that puck back. He would have been wide open. He did not turn and leave his check. And that young man has a bright future. Of course, he played on 2 World Junior teams with Canada. So when you get in that select a group of players, I mean, you're pretty good, right? I mean, that's pretty heady stuff.
Langenbrunner throws this one back in.
And you know, Kings, they drafted another guy out of Michigan, Steve Tambellini's son, Jeff, who's playing in Michigan now. He was their first-round pick last spring.
Rob Nystrom's son with one of the many products from there, as well as John Madden we're seeing. Here's a drive on. Brodeur got a stick on that as a faulty clear. Crazy bounce, and Wisnowski just nailed it. I think he looked at his stick. I'm not sure if he thought he'd broken it, but boy, did he ever get a lot on that one. Dropped one back now for Stevens and handed to Rafalski, who just directs it away, and Marshall plays it back in. Out of his goal is Huet to just toss it away from the reach of Elias, and back out come the Kings again. Very workmanlike job of checking being done by the Devils now. This is Albaline with a long toss. Elias touches it back down, so there's no icing. More time off the clock. 10:10 to go in the third period. Shots are 20-19 in favor of the Kings, 5-4 in this period, and half the period has been played as of right now. Albaline clinked it ahead. Gomez moves in. Led one ahead for Friesen, but he was already in the zone, so offside is called. And we've just reached the zone for another commercial timeout. We'll be back in a moment.
Tents, backpack, sleeping bag. I think that's everything.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Can't wait for yours? Then get into the Jeep Year-End Sales Drive, where well-qualified owners and lessees can buy a Jeep Grand Cherokee for $299 a month for 39 months and get our 770 powertrain limited warranty. Hurry to your Jeep dealer and see how good the best values in America can be.
Hey, James, why so quiet?
I'm so far in debt, I'm going to have to declare bankruptcy.
Don't even think about bankruptcy. I have the same problem as you, and then Kevin told me about this nonprofit group he was using. I was about $15,000 in debt, and now I'm debt-free.
Yeah, I even told Shannon about it, too.
Yeah, it's true. The budget planning experts, they lowered my monthly payments, so now they're more manageable.
How'd they do it?
Well, they work with your creditors to reduce your interest rate, and sometimes they can get rid of the interest altogether.
They even have this thing called the Good Payer Program, where you get cash back for paying your bills on time.
I just got a check for $150. Well, it's been a while since I could afford it, but this round's on me.
All right. So, lower monthly payments, out of debt quicker, and I get cash back? So where do I sign up?
Don't keep getting further and further into debt. Call the financial experts at Cambridge Brighton Budget Planning Corporation right now. Certified credit counselors are standing by.
Marty teasing the Kings on this shot. Watch this puck, folks. Look at it, jams right on that shaft. Marty wanted to get that with his blocker. That's got to make a goalie feel pretty good, though.
Here's Camilleri, turned aside by Brodeur. Camilleri just broke right through. Robitaille to Camilleri, who's sealed up by Niedermeyer, coming by as Nordstrom. And Robitaille. Pestered by Gomez. His pass went right off Gomez's skate. They try to return it, but it is kept alive by Corvo along to Camilleri. Held off enough by Gomez's checking so that Colin White can move. And White brings it ahead. Hands on to Scott Gomez. He's got freezing breaking. Tried to jam one in front, and Huet came out and got it at the hash marks and just holds on. Meanwhile, there was something going on behind the play that's going to result in penalties. And in the box for sure is Robitaille, and I think that's it.
Yeah, lucky Luke behind the play. He and Niedermeyer had something going up the ice. So the Devils get a chance to work on their power play, and I've got to say, Doc, because I didn't do very well on the trivia question, our crack statistician, John Friedman, did come up with the answer on is Grant Fuhr the goalie with the highest goals against in the Hockey Hall of Fame, and he is with a 3.38.
Why, not many people didn't feel he belongs either.
Oh,
that's why the numbers are deceptive.
No,
because the guy was one of the greats. Down to the ice went Rafalski on a forecheck by LaPerriere. LaPerriere out on the penalty kill with Eric Belanger, and back it is Miller and Norstad. And buzzing back in now, Chartrand tried to feed one in front. That chipped aside and brought back out by Elias. Elias fed one on to Larionov. Back on for Jamie Langenbrunner. He's run off, but the puck came on to Elias. Snubbed it behind. Larionov with it there. Looking to the front. Niedermeyer a shot, and that deflected up into the mesh.
Well, Scott Niedermeyer, he's becoming the sniper on this Devils power play. And I like what he's doing because he is finding holes. Now look at Scotty. He really leans down on that. He is shooting the puck with authority.
They're going to bring this out.
There's
the defense.
There's Robitaille. Oh, no, that's the penalty. Oh, Marty will chuckle about that one. It was a slash on the pads of Marty Brodeur. I'm sure they were just probably having some fun. But, well, that's it. I'm not saying another word.
Oh, you will. Langenbrunner hooks one in front. Elias there, and then it's cleared. Well, it was probably in French, whatever it was that they said to each other. But at any rate, it is Rafalski with 8 1/4 minutes to go in the third period. Brought ahead and shot back in by Larionov. Bounced loose and cleared along by Piernas. Knocked around behind for Elias. Played it off the wall, but this will be the Kings' puck to play. And Piernas is run off by Niedermeyer. Stashed right back ahead, and into the zone they come. Langenbrunner gives on to Larionov. Drive! And that one knocked down by Huet. Rebound turned away from Langenbrunner, who went over the top of the goaltender. Meanwhile, it is forced along into Albeline. Kept play alive. Elias's pass is thrown back out by Aaron Miller. 25 left on the kill for the Kings. 17,067. They are averaging 17,359 here and have sold out 4 of the first 11 games, counting this one tonight. Around it goes now for Huet. Bumped off. Stevenson feeds in front. Empty net and a block by Huet, who had just glided back into his goal crease. Stevenson again to the outside to Rasmussen. Looking for Breland. Played for Stevenson, but it was away from him. Stevenson took it right away from Froloff, but it is glassed back out again by Yaroslav Modry, and so retrieved by Stevens in the final 7 minutes and 3 seconds of regulation time. Breland brings it ahead. Team's back at full strength. Puck popped up to Wisnowski, but then Breland fought it back, and it's cleared back to Hale as the Devils are in the midst of a change. Hale and Albeline the defense. Langenbrunner working with Pandolfo and Madden. Madden with a goal tonight. Fires one that pops loose on Huet, and he just traps and holds on. The shots are even at 21. The Devils still leading 3-0 on Madden, Breland, and Niedermeyer's goals tonight.
Well, I hope Jacques Caron's watching. I know it's getting late for the old Kuta back east there. He didn't make the trip, but you know the number that Jacques Caron wore here in LA is retired. Now it doesn't say Caron on the back of it. It says Vachon. But Jacques played 4 games with the Kings. He wore number 1 and number 30. And he spent some time with their minor league team. But he was instrumental in the Players Association forming. And really, you know, I'm not talking necessarily even at the NHL level, but the minor league players have a lot to be thankful for, and Jacques Caron is one of the pioneers because it was in Springfield with Eddie Shore as the owner and manager and just about anything else that you can mention really control those players. And so Jacques was part of that group that finally broke that stronghold, and a lot of those players then were signed by the LA Kings and eventually got their chance in the National Hockey League when the league expanded from 6 to 12 teams.
Oh, we had too many men on the ice, and two guys tried to go through the same door at once. And only in might hockey does that work well. Along now is Belanger throwing one in front. It's off Brodeur, and he covers, and play is stopped. 5:40 to go, third period. The Devils still have a 0 up on the Kings side.
Whoa!
We're leaving in 5 minutes, guys.
The Mercedes-Benz C240 sedan, available with 4MATIC all-wheel drive. Disappointing kids all over the tri-state area.
I'm very driven and very ambitious. Probably has a lot to do with my background. Grew up one of 8 kids, raised by my mother. We didn't have very much money, so college wasn't an immediate option for me. I went back to school at 27, got my MBA law degree. Now I've got a lot of loans. Fleets help me with everything. Checking, savings, IRAs. I even invest there.
Banking and investing solutions from Fleet and Quick and Riley. It's just one way we help Eric Evans make smarter decisions with his money so he can move forward with life.
I wouldn't change a thing.
From the director of the lethal weapon films, a remarkable discovery.
Your father is in the 14th century.
A dangerous rescue.
We need you to help us get him back.
What about weapons? Nothing modern goes back.
Tomorrow.
Everybody take cover now!
Use your head.
You got 650 years of knowledge on these guys. You should get out of here in 20 minutes.
Or lose it. From the author of Jurassic Park. Timeline.
So are you saying they could be stuck there forever?
Rated PG-13 starts tomorrow.
Tommy Alvey, another underrated defenseman in the National Hockey League. Look what the number 6 does there. He would not let Jonathan Sim get his stick on that puck. Didn't even watch the rondelle, which is French for puck dog. He only took the man, which is what you're taught as a kid. Let the goalie take the puck, you take the man, and everything will work out, and we have an empty net. This is unusual.
With 5:26 to go, Andy Murray wants a little more spark in his team, so he'll go with 6 attackers, trusting that they'll go for some offense here and try to generate something around Marty Brodeur.
Well, I talked to Marty today. You know, he hasn't scored a point. Marty has in a few years. And he said, I think it's time for a goal. He says, yeah, I'm going to get a good one, too. Not a chintzy one like I got in the last time I scored.
Here is Frolov dealing one around that is controlled. Chartrand fed it in front. Oh, and Camilleri a shot, and it's deflected up into the mesh. Very quick work by the defense.
Was it Philadelphia Marty got the goal against?
That one was credited.
Yes, that was the one he was talking about. That he wants to get a clean one. Ooh, well, this spices up the game a little bit.
Camilleri won that one on back to the point. 6 attackers for the Kings. A lot of time to go. Corbo swings it along. Krolov's pass came back to Corbo. Angled right back. Camilleri tried to center. Niedermeyer blocked it. Tries again. It floats around behind. Tumbling down to the ice that time was Trent Platt. Work to the outside. Madden has it. Shoves it back down the ice. And Corbo will go back to get it. Will it be icing? No. Tapped along the wall and dropping it back is Robitaille. Corbo has to send it around to Wisnowski. Looks ahead for Trent Platt. Brings it ahead himself. Wisnowski across the checkered line, bangs it back in. Brodeur slowed it down for Niedermeyer. Cranks it around to Pandolfo. Pandolfo put it off a stick. Madden ahead on to Langenbrunner, but a tough pass for him. And so it is retrieved again by Modry. Under 4.5 to go. For about the last minute and a half, the Kings have been going with 6 attackers and the net empty. Puck sent up into sent out of play down the runway, and so they'll bring it back to center from whence it was shot, and a neutralized face-off to result.
I have not seen this. I can't.
Not this long ago, not this far from the end of the game.
No, I mean, I don't know if this is a statement by Andy Murray. Okay, Huet's back in the net. But now he's up by the blue line. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know. I don't know. Is Andy making a statement about something? Maybe he's just so upset with the officiating. He's trying to bring attention to something. But Huet's circling around in the top of the circle. He's trying to get off the ice.
I saw it once, and it almost worked in Fort Wayne in an IHL game in the mid-70s with Fort Huron. They were trailing 4-0. They pulled the goalie with about 5.5 to go and scored 3 times. Ooh. And made a real game out of it. But it does bring a spark to your team if it doesn't handcuff them, and Elias tried to send one that goes into the empty net, and Patrick Elias gets the fourth goal, and I guess the question now is whether we'll see Huet come back on the ice or not. It looks like he will. So Patrick with his second goal of the night.
And a dead-eye shot that was from center ice right in the middle of the net. A little less subdued celebration than you see when the goalie's in there. Patrick takes his time. And he's had a pretty good game, so maybe deserves this. He's had trouble finding the back of the net, although he got 2 the last game. Now another one. That's 3 in 2 games.
Point of game string goes up to 6. And now it is 4-0 New Jersey. On the road this year, they will have played 7 games, and so far they have given up a total of 7 goals. That's so far. Still an important 3:22 to go, and Turner Stevenson's in there working to try and keep it at that end of the ice. Aaron Miller just floats one out. Rafalski has that. Huet is back in the goal. You may have noticed that when play was back there. It is Scott Stevens floating one ahead that bounces back across to be taken by Chartrand. Brushed along by Scott Stevens. Puts a shoulder into Dustin Brown, who is out there now. Rookie getting a little more ice time. This one floated around behind where Huet takes it. Works it back up the boards, and Gomez just moved right from the bench and cut it off. Put it off the outside of the goal. Swung by Camilleri, but taken by Giunta. Now Aaron Miller is able to drop it back ahead. Oh, and Rafalski ran a man to the ditch, and that man was Jonathan Sim, and there'll be a little extra coming from that.
Well, it's actually David Hales.
I beg your pardon.
Yeah, it looked like 26 from up here. But David Hales had an interesting game. He got beat a couple of times. Not bad, but I think he's just got a bit of an edge going right now. And he said, I'm not getting beat again. And Jonathan Sim, with a nice move in the neutral zone, was going to slip by him. And he's spitting up blood, or he's trying to get the attention of the referee to show that he is. Now watch here. David Hale going to get beat along the boards. We just reached Jonathan Sim. And so the shutout that the Devils are trying to protect is a little more precarious now as Hale gets the 2 minutes.
Cross-checking the call at 17:23. By the way, I said Elias had 2 goals and just one and an assist as he set up the John Madden goal. The first one of the game that stacks to be the winner if the score doesn't change on the Kings side. Okay, here's Modry, a shot, and that one covered by Brodeur, who had lost his goal stick.
You see what he did, Doc? Marty didn't even try and pick it up. He just said, okay, I'm down a piece of equipment, and I'll just plug everything in the middle of the net. He is so cool when things start to fall apart.
So the idea is to keep your concentration on one thing, not 2.
Yeah.
Modry, a shot. Save Brodeur, and he paddled it away. Pandolfo shakes it back out to center. So Modry, in the last 2:07 of regulation time, his team still on the power play. Cranks the heart around that swirled around the wall, and it's poked back deeper by Froloff. Nudged on by Sean Avery, who's out on the power play now. Then to Froloff once more. Fan it out a little bit, but the Devils are challenging pretty well, and they're able to take this one away and start it up now for Sergei Brelin. Laid on for Langenbrunner. Langenbrunner back, but behind Brelin, and so the Kings will start back out with an advantage. Bringing it on now is Avery. Avery had it knifed away, goes for the wall with Niedermeyer and flexed it away from him. Cranks around, does Scott Stevens, and the puck goes back down in the last 90 of regulation time and the last 50 of this power play. So they wait behind. Brought back ahead and nudged on to Modry. Modry dealt it back in, and Scott Stevens goes to get it. 35 left on the penalty kill. Rafalski makes them chase to center, and this one will squib all the way down, so Huet has to come out. Tapped it to center, and Pandolfo gets back on side, then hacks one that Huet, gliding back to his goal crease, is able to block. Started out now for Jonathan Sim, who pitchforks it in on the backhand. Around to get it to Stevens in the final minute of play, and 15 on the power play. Around in front, a stuff attempt, and another, and Brodeur stops it. Jonathan Sim wheeled around from behind the net and had a couple of whacks.
Well, less than a minute now. Devils trying to protect that shutout. And Scotty Stevens, I don't know if someone yelled at him to reverse the puck. It could have been one of the Kings. And it was Jonathan Sim who scooped up that loose puck and tries a couple of whacks. He jams and he pokes, but Marty Brodeur will not give up that opening.
Grant Marshall got an assist on that empty net goal by Elias, and that gives him 200 points in his career, so congratulations to Grant. We're down to the last 33 of the tilt. The Devils' unbeaten string will be 12. And the only question now is at the other end whether the Kings will score in the last 25. And they won't this way. Corvo bangs it off. Marshall slowed it down. Marshall tried to steer it further and did. Larionov darts his way away from the check that was coming from Corvo. Gets it to the point for a shot by White that's deflected to the glass. To the last 8 and to the last 7. Played along to Marshall. Marty Brodeur was shut out 68, 4 of the year, tying it with Jose Theodore for the league lead. The Devils win again. Their unbeaten string is now at 12. The final score in the game. The Devils 4, the Los Angeles Kings nothing. So he's ahead of the Eagle by a pair. The Dominator by 5. Cujo by 26. And Chris Osgood by 28. And Chico by not nearly as many.
Because in his previous stops, he's been